like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
all right. Again, we're back again, another Wednesday, 9:30, with a great conversation. Y'all see the title. Is it tangible? Is it feasible? Is it realistic? Has the fight for equality hurt us more than it has actually helped us? We're going to kind of really dive in and try and unpack the conversation. Would there have been benefits to us staying segregated? Is fighting for equality a useless battle? And yeah, like I said, we'll kind of dive deep into a couple of different parts of it. But before we get there, y'all see the cash apps on the screen. Make sure that y'all show love to all the panelists. Super chats, super thanks are available on both channels, whichever channel that you are listening from. We are streaming live on the To Be Fair Show and the G-ish podcast. With that said, we got a fire panel. All of the regulars is here. At the top, G, talk to him.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. Search GSHPODI.
FBA's own FBA Trey, aka David Walker. Cash app him. Cash is Trey. What's going on, brother?
What's good? What's good? Looking forward to talking another interesting topic. Shout outs to the regulars in the chat. Looking forward to engaging with y'all as usual.
Yes, sir. And below him, the Charlotte legend, A Black. Yeah, talk to him, brother. What's going on?
What's up, everybody, man? Assalamu alaikum. We out here, brothers. It's Ramadan. It's Wednesday. Happy to be here. Happy to.
That daylight's kicking your ass, ain't it?
Oh, nah, man. It's nothing.
Oh, you true to it? Okay.
Yeah, man.
That extra hour with it. Yeah, I remember those days.
Nah, once you get adjusted, it ain't nothing, but it's all good.
But I was a kid then too, so I guess that probably plays into it. I dig it. To his left, J-Rock, Johnny P. Some people say Benny the Butcher and J. Cole have a song named after him. Johnny, 1/3 of the To Be Fair Show. Talk to him.
What's going on? What's going on, family? Glad to be here. It's your boy Johnny P. Looking forward to another one. Thanks everybody for pulling up on us. Tap in the chat, get interactive. All super chats get read immediately, and let's get it.
All right, so we're going to throw to a couple icebreakers, but before we get there, there has been a couple funny memes that was sent in that, or one may say funny, but I think it'd be interesting to just get the conversation started. Shout out to the little homie.
I'm gonna be honest with you. God didn't put you on this earth to like people. He just put you here to live your life. If you're a Democrat and you're being mean to President Trump, I'm on your bumper.
Can I call you officer or agent, DJ Daniel, all of the above?
It really don't matter to me. I love women, so I don't care.
Think your friends are gonna be jealous?
Pretty much. And I'm pretty sure my girlfriend gonna be jealous. Cause she ain't gonna be. I say you can't. I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna be like you gonna have to hit the road jacks. I might look 13, but I'm 50. Donald Trump is the best president of the United States. If I see you being mean to him, I'm coming after you. My friends, I know one of my friends told me to say this to Donald Trump, but I didn't say it to him. So good luck, buddy.
DJ, scale of 1 to 10. Last night, how surprised were you when you heard you were going to become a Secret Service agent?
Very surprised. I ain't gonna lie, my body almost dropped to the floor. So I'm just.
Yeah. Shout out to the little homie. How y'all fellas feel about him? Is he a star in the making?
Yeah, man. I could listen to that little nigga all day. He just got one-liners after one-liners. But yeah, this shit's funny. But ain't he the kid that they like held up at the
Yeah, I believe so.
The brain surgery.
Yeah,
like brain surgery or something like that.
I'm saying, but that's really him talking. That's not AI. That's
that's him.
That's him.
He's a wild boy. Yeah.
But how do y'all know how old he is? Because he one of them young niggas that look like he low key might be 42.
Well, that's what he said. He was 50, but he looked 13. I have no idea how old he is.
Wouldn't it be crazy though if this nigga really was 50? They parade him around as a teenager,
like on some Gary Coleman shit.
Weren't people bullying him?
I have no idea.
I thought I seen people talking about they were bullying that little kid. Like I thought he was really like 12 or something.
He might be. I don't know.
He's 13 for real.
He 13 for real.
Yeah.
So like, look, if he 13 for real, that means so. What's this? So another 4 years, he'd be 17. So he definitely gonna be at the next convention.
Oh,
and then 4 after that, he'll be 21. They gonna get him at least up until 28. He on the ticket through his 20s. Every convention.
Yeah, he a cancer survivor, brain cancer. They gave him 5 months to live, but he lived way longer than that.
Hey, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, man. My camera seems like it's not working.
Yeah, you about frozen a motherfucker.
Yeah, we can hear you though.
You in and out.
All right, so I got a couple icebreaker memes. I guess I'll pose this question: is it something, nothing, or yeah, we'll leave it at that. Is it something or nothing? We'll start on the Democrat side of the thing, or the side of the aisle.
I think they could have clapped for that, man.
Are we talking about the young boy? Yeah.
We found something we've never found before in more than 30 years of this poll. What you're looking at here is the image of each political party, the Democrats and the Republicans. And look at this blue, it's the Democrats, minus 28, it says. What does that mean? It means that when we ask this, do you have a positive or negative view of the party? Just 27% of voters say they have a positive image of the Democratic Party. 55% say they think of the Democratic Party negatively. That's negative 28 points. This is the trend line going back 30 years. You can see neither party has ever come anywhere near as close to this. It's fallen off a cliff, that number has for Democrats since the election. And that's no coincidence here, because when you take a look here, just looking again at our poll, what Democrats say they want Democrats in Congress to be doing when it comes to Trump here, you can see 2/3 right now, 65% say they want Democrats sticking to their positions and not compromising with Trump to try to gain consensus. That's a reversal of what it was the first time around when Trump first came to office. Democrats are in a fighting mood. You see something like we watched in the last week where some Democrats, Chuck Schumer, gave the votes to keep the government open. A lot of Democratic voters angry, and a lot of Democratic voters saying they don't like their own party.
All right, fellas. Is it something or nothing?
It's definitely something.
Democrats they're polling at an all-time low. Is it something or nothing?
Something. I mean, it's so bad at this point. Like I almost feel like Republicans are cosplaying as Democrats just to sabotage them, because it's like they are so tone deaf, out of touch, can't read the room, got the same tactics and strategies still, same talking points. It's just like, why can't everybody see it but y'all? It's almost like they sabotaging themselves. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something, but I think we have to see what it is, because you can't have a country with just one political party. And if this is the death of the Democratic Party, or if it's the decline, there has to be, for every action, there's a reaction. So I think there's going to be something more to come, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's really going to be good or bad for us, but it is definitely something. It's something to keep your eye on. For sure.
Man, I think it's definitely something, man. And not to gloat, man, but I feel like I called this like months ago. I was like, are the Democrats going to survive this? Are they going to crash and burn? We don't have the support. They don't have the base. And then now it's like, I think it's only going to get worse, because if they made the mistakes that they made to put them in this situation, they're doubling down on those mistakes. So it's only going to get worse. And I don't know, it's almost so bad. Is it intentional? Like, I don't think they could be this bad, like, unless it was on purpose. And then I think you also have to keep in mind that it's ran by people that are like 80 years old. So you know how hard it is to get people that old to change their perspective on anything. So as long as they have control, it's definitely not going to change. And then the next, like, who's going to come and fill that void? Is it going to be what Gavin Newsom sitting down with the the white supremacists, or is it going to be what's the name Crockett? Getting all sassy, waving the bundles around, rooting for the T community. Like, that's not going to work. So, like, what do they even do? They should have elected Bernie Sanders, and when they had the chance to, because now, like, we're in this position where everything that Trump's doing is pretty popular. Like, the majority of people, not everything, excuse me. The things he ran on are things that he's doing right now. So people can't be upset with that. And the majority of us want deportations. So for the Democrats to be on the side against the people, that's not helping. So, and then even they're still voting to have females in male sports, like, even after they took this L. So, like, how low can they go? At what point are they just some defunct party of the past?
Yeah, I think it'll get real bad too. Like, if these 4 years pass and things are not as bad as they are trying to make it out to me. Like, right now, every time Trump says or does something, like, some of the stuff is bad, some of it we got to see, but the Democrats just like make it seem like everything he does is bad. But if people kind of like make it through these 4 years, they survive, you ain't put back in slavery, you still got your job, your home and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be worse, because they were like, oh, all that fear mongering they was doing, it didn't work, so we'll see.
I guess that's my question though, is if it's the end of the Democratic Party, where does that leave the politics in America, or like what happens next? Because like a one-party system doesn't work the majority of the time.
Yeah, I don't think that will be close to a one-party system.
So
go ahead.
I think another thing about it, like, I think it is definitely something, right? But what's also something is that it's not just unique to the Democratic Party. Like, these red county town halls that have their
okay,
you
jumping the gun for the next meeting. Yeah. We're gonna talk about both sides of it.
Okay, all right. So if I'm just talking about the Democrats, it's definitely something. And this recent incident with Chuck Schumer. Now, I will say, in hearing him talk a little bit on some of he kind of did his round robin, did some interviews, and gave some explanation behind his reasoning. I mean, after hearing his reasoning, it's like at least he has a thoughtful response that makes sense to me. I'll give him at least like credit for.
Is that the idea of pretty much allowing the Republicans to crash and burn?
No,
okay, all right. I've heard that going around a little bit. What was his response?
So what I'm replying to specifically was when he was like, if he does shut down the government, something passed since the last Trump administration. There's a new rule that gives the president like complete control or say so if the government to then just make decisions. And so when you start considering what Doge is doing and everything that's being cut and so forth, his position was, if I allow things to shut down, we essentially could lose all our leverage in all these programs that people are saying they don't want to go away. In theory, he's saying that would give Trump the power to take those things away. Now, I'm no expert. Yeah, I'm no expert on if that's 100% true. We need to look that up, but that is what he explained. He was getting interviewed, and based off the explanation at his face value, I can at least make sense of the strategy. And it's like, for Democrats, it's like this is where I like, going to the chat. It's like, you in my opinion, if you're the type of person to say turn the other cheek, then when you get smacked in the face, you need to turn the other cheek. You don't need to compromise your character because you got hit in the face. Like, if you're preaching turn the other cheek, then when it's time for you to take action, you got to practice what you preach. What the Democrats are doing, trying to stall government and create a shutdown, is the exact opposite of practicing what they preach. Same thing when they didn't clap at the at the State of the Union and the presidential address. Like, if you want to criticize the other side of the aisle for, you know, whatever the things you criticize them for, when things flip, don't be the thing that you're criticizing. Like, you know, be the thing that you said it should be. Like, you know, hold yourself to your own standards versus stooping to the thing that you're criticizing. So that's probably my biggest thing with Democrats in general.
And wait, are you saying that them not allowing the government to shut down is doing that, or you?
No, the fact that most Democrats want the government to shut down, just despite basically.
Okay, you're talking about like the Democratic majority of the country, not specifically like the actions that happen.
And the representatives specifically, like, because you know it was only like 10 Democrats that they needed, and Schumer got the vote. So like,
yeah,
it was like overwhelming blue party wanted to go a different way. And to me, it's you know, it's not a model of leadership that I think, you know, gives people confidence to support.
I got you. All right, so I guess following that up, before we move to the other side, what do y'all think of the model pretty much of the Democrats? Heard a couple people say it, where in essence they're doing we're going to allow the Republicans to, in essence, quote unquote, crash and burn, so that in 2 years we can have a clean sweep in primaries. Do you think that that's smart? I don't know, a bad idea in general? Thoughts?
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's anti-American, man. It's like, you know, you took the L, but you still supposed to work for the betterment of the country. And they've been on some like, we wanted.
I think that's what they say. Like, they're gonna allow Trump and them to pretty much do. I think that the idea is that they think that Trump's policies are bad to the point that they're not going to stand in the way of him passing anything. Inside like the filibuster or all the different like quote unquote legal ways that they can stand in the way and draw things out.
I mean, I think that's a very privileged, you know, thing to, you know, do, as far as like, if you know it's going to crash and burn, it's going to affect a lot of people, and they're probably insulated from the effects of it, instead of just, you know, trying to work together, taking it on the chin and doing what you can. If you're just going to tap out.
So I guess maybe that'll be the question. Do you think that they should allow the Republicans the leeway to see if what they're going to do, whether works or crash and burns, or should they do the political thing and stand in the way and, you know, kind of quote unquote theoretically and literally filibuster until primaries come and hope to win some part of the government back?
Like, what they just did contradicts like the strategy of letting them crash and burn, because well, let me say, what Chuck Schumer did contradicts the strategy of letting them crash and burn. Because I guess
we'll have to see the full, because if that gives him more power than it naturally would, then that could expedite things. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
I'm only going by what you said. You said that the new passing of some law, when it comes down to government shutdown,
like if the government shuts down, the president will have a certain authority,
version of power that they typically haven't had. And with that, how long does the government shutdown can operate? I be forgetting how long the government shutdowns be, but it's usually like between 1 to 3 months, right?
When it can be days or weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine inside that time, if we're only moving off of unchecked executive orders, that kind of, I don't know. So yes, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if we want to let them crash and burn, then what we don't do is just intentionally start blocking stuff to get in their way. Like let them run their part. Like be what's the word? What's the bipartisan? Like be collaborative and let them let them crash and burn versus like give them excuses to say we couldn't do this because the Democrats blocked this, the Democrats blocked that, the Democrats blocked that. The similar like when it was the other side.
So you say the crash and burn theory is you giving that a thumbs up?
I don't think it's a smart thing to do. No.
Okay, I think that they should try and do the political thing of blocking.
Hold on.
So,
Hey,
so
hold
what
on.
would be the best,
Hey, Q.
best because they are inside the majority, so they kind of get to do what they want to.
What they need to do. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I was gonna say I think it depends on how you truly feel about Trump and what's gonna happen if you just let it crash out. If you think it's really gonna be the end of democracy, you're not gonna let it happen. But if you think it's just gonna be kind of bad and then you can come and take the power back. So I guess it depends on
But
you know,
so what
your
do you,
conviction.
so if we're giving like strategy advice as novices to the Democrats, of course what you're saying is true. Like if you think that we're going to end up in a dictatorship, then you should do everything that's necessary. Right now, what do you think would be best to actually win? I guess what
They need to
primary in the presidential election.
I think like me not believing Trump is the devil and the ultimate bad. I think the best thing would be a crash and burn strategy, and then just let the people. Because if he's not going to end democracy, then you have a chance. But if you feel like he's really as bad as you say he is, then you got to stand and fight. But I don't believe that he's that bad, so I would crash and burn, and then let's regroup and figure it out in the primaries or 4 years from now.
I would advise them to go a completely different approach in that they need to embrace you got to try the exact opposite. What you've been doing this whole time is trying to demonize, trying to like tear down, like zero acceptance has been the message, and look at where it's gotten you. So what if you embrace the fact that he's president, treat him similar, like just think back to 25 years ago when Bush was president and how Democrats treated Republicans at that point. It wasn't always like shits and giggles, but there was a certain level of decorum and respect between parties, even though there was like clear tension at the time too. They need to get back to like showing American people that it's about American people and stop with this bullshit theatrics of us versus them. And it takes away from like what's really, impacting the average person. I think that would be a winning strategy to literally do the opposite of what you've been doing.
I agree with that.
Right, but I guess like does that mean allow? So that sounds like allow them to.
No, it doesn't mean crash and burn.
Push through the policies that they're trying to get through, or stand in their way through like means of filibuster.
It means like put people first, literally. So if the policy is beneficial for people, then work with the party to make the good things happen, and then be critical of the things that you think will be detrimental to society. Like you know what I'm saying? But be bipartisan with it. Like don't just have this approach of we're not yielding
because we're blue and we believe
all blue. We're not giving them, like, it shouldn't be that. It needs to get back more to like a real political system, in my opinion, where it's about these folks representing their constituents' best interest.
So I guess, do you think that I guess this would be your POV then? Like, you believe that currently the Democrats are stepping on bills that they also believe, but they can't because they don't have the power. But I guess, but they have been stepping on bills that could be beneficial to the American people because of it's Republican.
Like, why? Tell me why Democrats want the government to shut down.
Well,
who does that benefit?
But I guess they didn't, so it's kind of hard.
They did though. They like the Democratic Party is mad at Chuck Schumer for not allowing the shutdown to happen.
Right, but I guess like it didn't happen because of the reason that you outlined, and like they would have. So I guess what you're saying is that a majority of the party wanted it to happen, but again, I imagine politics work in a sense that they all do communicate and get together, and they don't want to show like wavering support, but they said we're going to strategically do this thing, and make sure that we have enough. And if I got to take the brunt, I got to take the brunt.
Now look.
I'm listening.
You see how Democrats are talking about Chuck Schumer, one of their party leaders, versus how Republicans always like support their party leaders. Like, Chuck Schumer made a decision as the leader of the party, and everybody else in the party came out to the media and talked negatively about him, his leadership, and how this is a slap in the face to Democrats across the country and so forth and so forth. he got ripped by his own party throughout the media. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think that's how. Like, what's the old dude from Kentucky? Mitch McConnell. Republicans, even though they know he old as shit and ain't no good, they never would rip him publicly like that through the media.
So you're saying the Republicans don't have a history of ripping their leaders?
Not the way Democrats do.
But they haven't been.
I thought that like we just was saying that we pacified Democratic leaders like Biden and Kamala and everybody else prior to them. The Obamas, like they typically don't get criticized at all.
I'm talking about currently, right now, today. That's what I'm talking about. The Democratic, like, look at how they criticize Bernie, for example. Like, tore down Bernie Sanders to prop up Hillary Clinton. So the Democratic Party has a way of seemingly picking individuals to lead their party that the people don't pick. Like that,
I guess that, like, that's a different conversation. I agree with the Bernie Sanders thing because but Bernie Sanders was an outsider. He was kind of an independent that was trying to join within the ranks of the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is the good old boys club as well. And so even how they whole little thing goes with the super delegates and shit like that, they just was gonna make sure they boxed them out, and which was unfavorable to the party. I mean, unfavorable to the people, but it was in the best interest that they felt for the establishment of the party, if you understand what I'm saying. In which that still goes to the idea of them doing and showing favor to the people that they want and the people that's already in leadership, i.e. like the Hillary that was supposed to be ordained to be a Democratic leader per se. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess we can continue. I don't know who didn't answer the question. I'm sure me and G can kind of go a little bit longer on this, but yeah.
I mean, Trey. I would say
should they stay out the way or should they try and block shit?
Man, I don't think they have the political capital right now to obstruct Trump, especially when he's doing so many of these popular issues and their approval ratings are already in the tank. I think they've been proven to be blatant liars. Starting the biggest lie was when they said that Biden was, capable of running for president this whole time, gaslighting us, even though we saw him. And then the debate came out and it was like, bro, y'all, like last week, y'all said he was cool. Now you want to replace him and not even give us an option and just shove Kamala in our face. And on top of that, they said they were doing all this talk about the end of democracy, and now they're just like talking about letting Trump do what he does. So they tried to scare us into voting for this, and then when it's time, they're shaking hands with him in the picture with Joe Biden, and they seem like they're all cool, but they wanted to scare us about this, and now they're not even tripping. I even saw Clyburn advocate for pardoning the J6.
A piece of them doing what G was just advocating for, as in like going across the aisle, shaking hands.
Oh no, I agree with G. With that's what they should do. I'm just adding to what he's saying, but I hope they do none of this, man, because I want to see them fully crash and burn, bro. They've been like a disease,
so are you telling them stay out the way or keep doing like the or attempt the filibuster thing that's gotten them low approval ratings?
Depending on what the goal is. If I want them to be successful, I would say that they should do like G's saying and do what the people want. Like, don't get on TV saying that we couldn't use a $5,000 check. $5,000 can't help. Don't do these stupid dances. Like, if there's an issue that Trump does that's extremely unpopular, get behind that. But don't champion these niche issues that nobody cares about, which got them voted out in the first place. If I want them to help, but what I want them to do is double down on stupid, and then keep doing that until they wither away.
But so you rather just see them crash and burn and actually get things right and be productive? Like,
I think some things are too messed up. It's FUBAR, messed up beyond all repair. So,
what word did you use? FUBAR?
Yeah,
that's a new one. I know.
Okay, yeah.
That's some South Carolina shit. FUBAR.
I think it might be military.
Man, just because me and Trey agree don't mean it's South Carolina, man.
I mean, I ain't never have y'all niggas heard FUBAR?
Now I don't know what FUBAR is.
I ain't even heard that word, bro. I
Hey,
mean,
Black Mike, I don't know.
It just makes them. Just makes
It's a new one for me.
It just,
It's
I
like
need
you can't.
context clues to understand what he's saying, but I ain't never heard it.
But I'm saying you can't
Are you
build
meaning
on
like
a lot.
a faux pas? Is that what you were trying to say?
No, FUBAR, FUBAR.
FUPA?
FUBAR, no. No, look it up on Urban Dictionary.
If it's not a real word, if it's on Urban Dictionary, bro.
I mean, it's you. People understand what it means. You know,
Just Johnny.
it's an acronym. Man,
What-
but y'all in that bubble, man. I be telling y'all what's going on outside that bubble. Y'all think I'm making it up, brother.
Okay.
But yeah, nah. What I'll say about the Democrats is like they got to get back to being like real honest, transparent, and kind of like take their disdain for Trump out of the equation, because it's like their dislike for him is just like anything he do is wrong, anything he do is bad. So they gotta like get back to being professional, get back to being the standard, not becoming what they are. You know, not interrupting in hearings and, you know, doing like G said, theatrics and stuff. If they go the route of like crash and burn and we just go agree with everything he does, that's going to bite them in the ass in the primaries, because now when you at a debate, they're going to be like, well, you agree with this. You agree with that, you know, so they can't go that route. So it's like, if you genuinely disagree, you need to say it, but not with your feelings. Like they like our kind of acting like a scorned female, or I don't want to say, like they're just like, we lost, so we don't want nothing to win. And I don't know if you see a lot of Democrats, they be saying like, oh, we told you so, we told you so, we told you this would happen. Like it's almost as if like they want things to fail. I'm like, what did y'all tell us and stuff? Like, and then, you know, educate people, like get out of this whole, Americans are not scared, whether that's bad or whether it's good, but you can't do the whole just fear this is about to happen. He fires the IRS agency. Oh, y'all not gonna get y'all. I already got my tax return back faster than ever. Like, I don't know what the hell they did, but I got my shit. I got it. It is nice. So they's like, oh, he go fire the IRS agents. Our taxes about to be messed up. Well, my shit is good. Like, so they got to get back to like really telling the truth. You know, not lying, because they lie a lot too. Holding themselves accountable and stop acting like they just this infallible party who ain't did nothing wrong. You know, like, and it's like anything, like it's funny, even with the Ukraine thing. When Biden was in office, everybody was against that nigga sending millions to Ukraine. Democrats, Republicans, like everybody. As soon as that thing happened with Zelensky, now it's like, you love for Ukraine and shit. I'm like, when y'all start caring about Ukraine? Like, because Trump is against the dude now, y'all for him. It's like anything he's against, they're for. And that's why it's like they acting like on some Drake fans type shit. Is like, it's not even no logic right now. It's like all emotion. It's like, we don't like this guy, so anything he does is wrong. Most of his executive orders and things he proposed have been blocked by judges. But even after they're blocked, Democrats are still kind of promoting them, those things. It's like, that's already been blocked. Why y'all still talking about that? Like, because they're trying to just make him the bad guy. He's already the bad guy. He's already embraced being the villain. So you can't like villainize him any further. Like, get back to the facts, get back to educating people, find smarter ways to educate them. Like, use social media and shit for more than dancing and trends, and like use it to like tell people what's really going on. And also, he cutting into their money. Democrats act like they ain't been getting money for years from all these little programs and shit, and skimming from the top and making millions and stuff. You know, some of the aid and all that shit might do some good, but a lot of them are stealing money too. You know, a lot of government workers that don't want to go back to work are getting paid huge salaries to do nothing. And like, everybody probably knows somebody too. You know, not to knock the hustle, but like, you got good government jobs in DC, and niggas don't be doing nothing. Not on the workload that average people are working for these salaries that they're getting up in DC. and they're
But
mad.
that's not the biggest scam though. Like you gotta go after.
It's all they got, but Democrats got all kind of scams. All the government do. So it's like instead of acting like y'all ain't stealing nothing, y'all ain't getting no money. Be honest about the shit, and then also show the other side too. But like they keep trying to like, it's like a misinformation war right now. But somebody
that's exactly what it is.
Somebody got to tell the truth. Like,
but
like,
Black,
how you get the people back.
If they that rotten to the core, do you think there's any fits in that though? It's like they don't even know how to get away of these fringe issues that like can they if they come to the middle now, it's almost like it sounds fake. Like we know who they are. Like you know what I mean? And on top of that, Trump's strategy right now is like shock and awe. Like half of them are under investigation. They're scared. They're in their you know what I mean? So they don't even want to speak up because the last thing they want to do is make themselves a target. Because right now, like Letitia James, Fannie Willis, there's a few of them that got pushed to the front line. So if they are being targeted right now, do you really want to be like, what's the name's next? What's that girl with the lady with the bundles? Jasmine Ratchet. Like,
you saying that?
She's about to. She better be careful, man. Like, because they're not going to defend her when you come for her. But I guess she's so like so much of a joke. Bro, Trump is coming for blood with a lot of these people, man. He has that what's it called? That portrait of his mugshot in the office to remind him every day what they tried to do.
I know. I guess this is
But I think that's the I think that's the key though. Like A Black said, like Trump is cool with playing a villain. And for the longest, the Democrat had played those the bad guys. And then when somebody actually be like, I'm the bad guy and I'm still beat y'all, it kind of take the wind out your sail, take like
Trump Stone Cold.
Yeah, out of your game because like, yeah, he is the bad guy. And you gotta actually do something and you just gotta be shit. And morals ain't gonna win it. You gotta have strength and you gotta have numbers. And like he just kind of, as the bad guy, he proved that morals don't really matter. It's about like
morals.
It's about political strategy. It's about political strength, and it's about how you able to galvanize your base.
All right, so I guess this will kind of be a time to kind of swing it to the other side of the aisle. We got a couple memes sent in that I guess should be able to spark some conversation. Let's see, we can start with this one.
You hate when we use the word racist. You hate being attacked. You hate when we bring up race and everything. But then when we have an opportunity to show that.
Can the volume go up a little bit?
Oh, you can't hear it?
I can hear it, but it is kind of low.
Did that help?
And I sit here and we talk about our families. We talk about our kids.
Is that better?
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear
we
it.
go on trips together, and then we talk about not funding state, not using our state dollars to go to white supremacy programs, and then we table it. You want to talk about some stuff? Let's talk about how they just took almost $7 million from the College of Charleston because they want to help black kids. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the amendments that are in the state budget right now to defund all the black programs that are going across the state. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about AP African American Studies that was banned from this state. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the attacks that you got going on people who don't look like you. Let's talk about it. Why do we continuously do this to our kids? Why? What is it that you're doing? What are you showing your kids?
I guess that kind of hits to the nail of where he's going. Play this one also.
Anger boiling just moments ago, boiling over at a town hall in Nebraska. Republican Congressman Mike Flood was finishing a meeting with constituents, and here is some of what we just saw. Danny Freeman is out front at that town hall in Columbus, Nebraska tonight. And Danny, you've seen some of these town halls, so now you're able to say what one looks like versus another. So much frustration in the auditorium where you are. What did people have to say to Congressman Flood?
In this particular town hall, Aaron, people had a lot to say to Congressman Flood, but just for some perspective, we're in Nebraska's first congressional district. This is a district that President Trump won by 55% of the vote. Congressman Flood actually did better than Trump back in 2024 with 60% of the vote. And yet, as you noted, as you just played, there was still quite a lot of frustration. And I'll say, Aaron, the biggest amount of boos and jeering that we heard really came with the subject of Elon Musk, with the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. A lot of people fearful that there would be cuts to the VA, also cutting of Medicare and Medicaid. Take a listen to how Congressman Flood responded to at least some of this, because he really stood by Elon Musk and DOGE.
There's a lot of people in this room that don't support what DOGE is doing. But for the first time, we are making some progress. How can you be against a balanced budget? All right.
All right, so I guess that
and they were screaming tax the rich. Just
yeah,
so that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So currently there has been, I guess, a bit of infighting within the Republican Party. One could put it as classic MAGA versus neo-MAGA. And that kind of ends up being like the line that is starting to be drawn, where, especially with like a lot of the Doge things, the Elon Musk, and some of the things that's getting pushed down. Starting off with that, and then we can later segue our way into the first meme. Is this Republican infighting, the classic MAGA versus the neo-MAGA, not Chuck Schumer, I can't remember his name, the dude over Breitbart versus Elon Musk. Is this something or nothing?
I mean, I think it's something, because I think it's also something just like on the other side, but it just, again, it shows you the hypocrisy on both sides, because I mean, you got Trump talking about, he's for like the white supremacy. I guess he represents what a lot of white supremacists want to see in this country, but then, and he brings somebody that's not of this country and gives him the power to make all these decisions. And Elon Musk isn't even American, and I think that's what a lot of white folks are like kind of pissed off about, is because like Elon Musk is not from this country. He like the way we argue about FBA, he wouldn't be foundational white American, or whatever you'd want to put it. He ain't of American, and the fact that he has so much power and is able to, control so many things that's going on in this country that affects a lot of people that don't look like us a lot of the times.
Yeah,
they're pissed off, and it's on kind of a blueprint though, because like you see how they react to the same kind of things that we're reacting to, and it lets you see that like both sides, we're all kind of pawns, whether we white, black, conservative, liberal. Like the motherfuckers up top will all we all bait at the end of the day to them, and no matter what side you are. And I think that's, to me, the beautiful part about it. It shows both sides.
Gotcha. And yeah, as you was talking, just a quick thought that came to my head. Again, that's rural Nebraska, red, that's red country pretty much. And again, thinking of like the classic MAGA versus the neo-MAGA, more I think about it, do y'all think that MAGA, the majority of the Republican base is impacted more by these current cuts in policies and the inflation, the tariffs, not tariffs, but what's reactionary to the thought of tariffs, because of naturally there's more rural white, and there's more Republicans in general, more red states across the board. I don't know. What is y'all thought? And it seems like they're starting to realize that, oh damn, we forgot we were poor.
Yeah, I mean,
you got exploited. That's what they're realizing. That we got exploited. It took us longer to realize it, but they realized it as soon as it happened.
Still don't realize that.
Right now, we're not making a comparison. We're just talking about separate things. Yeah. We
talked about Democrats. Now we on Republicans strictly.
Yeah. I think the Republicans are now, it's like they thought, white is right, white go be good for all of us, and now they're in it, and it's like they starting to see the classism, the class division between the rich and poor. I mean, like Elon Musk, an American citizen since 2002, But like I think G was saying is like our Johnny, they down there seeing him like they got like their white FBA, like he a citizen, but he ain't from here. You know, he ain't been here. He not one of us type shit. And they now they're seeing this class division of like, we thought this man's just gonna look out for all white people and stuff, when it's like, nah, I'm gonna look out for certain white people, and you know, y'all gonna have to fight too, just like everybody else, because y'all are, your color is not the power fully. It's more, it's not even really white supremacy to me, it's green supremacy, it's money supremacy, you know.
And that's why they were saying tax the rich.
Yeah, so it's like, now it's like, I mean, everybody hate the rich until they rich, but they just realizing it's a classism thing. Like, he ain't never cared about poor white people either. I mean, he told us that back on Oprah years ago, that they are the dumbest of the dumb, and he gonna use and exploit them to get in his position. But he been about the money. He been about people with money.
I think it's like exploiting, how can I say this? Like, just the Christian base of America and their faith, if you will, because it's like the average white American identifies as Christian in America. And when you have parties that have certain policies that are like very like loud, that have things that go against, say, your faith, right? So when you're loud LGBTQ rights, when you're loud women rights to choose, you're pro-abortion, when you're, say, quote unquote Christian, just by default, you're gonna often say like, nope, 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 nope. But what happened, in my opinion, these same individuals, a lot of these same individuals with that mindset, like you said, they're poor and they need government assistance and they need government programs, and they benefit off those government programs.
They're the biggest consumers of it.
They are the biggest consumers.
Like Social Security, he's trying to cut
all the
Medicaid,
above,
Medicare,
all of them, all
VA.
of them, food stamps, etc.
Hey, them white people are pissed.
All of it. And the most underrated group of whites are the veterans. Like that's a very powerful voting bloc in America. And when you start attacking VA rights as a quote unquote pro-military, pro-soldier candidate, it's not gonna go over well. So
good luck, buddy.
So it's funny, you don't like the DEI until your group is on the block. Didn't think that veterans would be considered, one amongst the DEIs, but so it's like you said, it's like, I think it's their faith that sets them up for the booby trap. It's because Republicans play on faith-based politics.
I think white
and they hook them.
I don't think Trump really did that as much as
evangelicals love Trump.
Well, he went to that rally and told them they got to vote again.
But he wasn't Bible thumping though. He just went and talked to him. He wasn't really Bible thumping himself though. He just
they was against the pronouns and stuff. They real simple. Like
that's what I'm saying. Trump
they was bait. They was bait. They was easy.
But that's my point. It's like all you gotta do is tell that whole base. You don't have to talk policy. All you gotta do is talk about things that align to their faith. Yeah, we don't want gay shit. Hey, we don't want abortion. Hey, we don't want immigrants.
We gonna get them up out of here.
Hey, we want to keep it white and pure. Hey, we want to bring slavery back. You gonna get your vote. You know what I'm saying? Like,
who said that?
I said a lot of shit nobody literally said, and you stopped me on the one thing. It's like you let me go through a whole list. You let me go through a whole list of hyperbole just to get to the one hyperbolistic turn to be like, who said that? Like, come on, bro.
The only reason I say that because the only person I know who said that was Joe Biden, because he said
that he want to bring slavery back.
He said Trump's gonna put y'all back in chains. Y'all remember he said that?
He could have been talking about a Diddy party though.
Oh, shut up,
Free Diddy.
That's why that rung a bell to me, because there was somebody talking about going back in slavery, and it wasn't Trump. But I think the idea, and I think it's like really rich, especially from like the staunch Democrats on the black side, to accuse the Republicans on the right are being exploited. It's like they can't fathom that they're being exploited, but they know when exploitation is actually happening. And it's crazy, like how when you're in a situation, you can't see the forest for the trees. Because the Republicans say that the black people were being exploited by the Democrats this whole time. They're like, no, we're not. So it's, you know what I mean? It's crazy how you can easily point your finger, but when it's time to look in the mirror, nobody's really able to do that.
Right, but I think that that's bipartisan, and we're seeing it. Like literally,
that's my point. That's my point.
They gotta be the independent move, because it's like fuck.
But this is why the Poor People's Campaign was so powerful, because if you take those two bases of poor whites and blacks and bring them together, hey, man,
minorities, yeah,
and with the minorities, it's a powerful group
from both sides. You probably got a minority in today's.
But that's why they say they kill you when you start talking classism.
Yeah,
but also I think the idea though is Trump is supposed to help he's saying he's going to help people on the back end. And I think the idea is a lot of these things will hurt, but if he can supplement that by, really ending income tax or doing
that will never happen, bro. Like I'm just saying, like that's a pipe dream. That's not even a pipe dream.
They would have to tax the rich then. They would have
to. Johnny, ain't no have to nothing. These niggas are not ending income tax, bro. Like at the federal level, no way. No way. No way.
The term tax the rich is like it's true that so many like Social Security gets solved if they just bump up the tax limit on like how much people over 160 pay. I mean, they make over 160K pay in Social Security. Let's just say like
that's not rich.
No. But the richest of the rich pay the exact amount as somebody that makes 160.
Trey, do you know what percentage of Americans make over, say, $250,000 a year?
We said 140. I would say 250 is closer to wealthy, but 140 is
like. But, all right, but you understand that I'm not. But Trey, you're making a point that I'm not making. I'm not saying that they are rich. I'm saying if you continue to tax at the same rate, what is it, 7%? If you continue that 7% rate, because after it gets
there's a certain threshold. Ceiling.
The ceiling is 180. After 180, it becomes fixed. It's no longer just a percentage.
It's not even fixed, Q. You don't pay no more. You don't pay no more above 180.
And my bad. And that's kind of what I meant by fixed, but I used the wrong terminology. But yeah, like it becomes that exact amount. So like if you make $100 million, you pay the exact same amount inside Social Security tax as somebody that makes 160,000, and that's what the disparity is. And pretty much, I forget what it is. Like if you raise that number up to just 7% at like 500K, you fix the Social Security whole issue. But that's where it becomes the issue of tax the rich.
Yeah, raise it to
they sit the ceiling right there, and they won't go up any higher.
And they give corporations billions of dollars in subsidies so that they can quote unquote create economic opportunities and provide jobs, but at what cost, right? You know what I'm saying? Like there are ways for the federal government to get their money, but I'm telling you right now, they're going to get income tax. Like that shit is not going away.
What about ending taxes on tips and overtime, or the Doge checks, or if they're able to get inflation under control? And also get the prices of the supply line stuff and get energy costs down too. Like, do you think that would help with a lot of these cuts?
Hey Trey, I'll say this. No, I would believe in a lot of these cuts a lot more. Like if they would go after the Pentagon, because that's where we know the majority of the money that gets wasted. And if you're gonna go after an agency and get enough money to help people, it's going to be in that Pentagon. But we could keep going after these small agencies, and it's affecting the people in America. When you go after these agencies, go after the Pentagon, get the biggest fish, and then try to split it up. But if you keep on getting small fish saying you're going to feed people, I don't see how it's going to just help when you continuously tackling small fish.
We got a lot of conflicts going on right now. That's the only thing, because we got what's going on in the Arctic. We got what's going on in Ukraine, Israel. Now
they all wasting taxpayers.
I don't know. None of these
conflicts are like, and if you look at the budget and our budget compared to any country. Like you can take the 3, 4, 5 and combine them, and it still don't equal our budget. But if you look at the numbers, the Pentagon said they lost the money. You can see.
Well, yeah, you're talking about the things when they get audited that just doesn't exist, like all the lost money.
And
not even the military spending. I think that's what you're speaking to.
But I'm saying, but if the agency is called Doge, and you supposed to talk about efficiency, one of the most inefficient, the biggest spender of our money is the Pentagon, and you're not going after that. So how can I really believe in you if you're not really going after the most inefficient?
Like the most inefficient group?
I do think there's a fair I'll just say this, and talking to somebody who I know who's like retired military high up and just asking general opinions.
Shout out,
he said he would raise the budget for the military, and I was like, what? And then when you start going through, but when you start going through like what America means globally, and
fuck them, like why we gotta.
Man, it depends, bro. Because we're globally
as Americans, why do we have to protect it? Why do we give a fuck?
No, it's not about protecting the world. It's about protecting America and the currency, because like it's all a global economy, and in the way America's positioned, it's like, you know, the World War II happened because of that quote unquote East versus West. Eastern Europe was trying to take over Western Europe. Hold up. Now the new world is the old East. China, Russia is trying to take over the old West in terms of US and UK. It's like that's like the line that's being like drawn in the sand. And so what America's trying to do is ensure that as China continues to grow, as Russia continues to grow, as really all of the countries that they've essentially put America's foot has been on their neck for decades, they're kind of coming up under their slumber. And America's like, no, we got to be prepared for the folks who gonna want their get back. It's just that simple.
But G, no, that's not what Trump's trying to do. Trump's trying to build relations back with Russia. If you look at what he's doing, and if you look at like this Ukraine deal and all of that stuff, think about all the taxpayer dollars that went to Ukraine. And when Trump's talking about taking American ownership of these the energy infrastructure in Ukraine and all of that. But guess where that money is going to go to? That's not going to come to the average American. That's going to go to the Elon Musk, and that's going to go to the Hunter Bidens and all these people and all these rich people, bipartisan, who have had business over there in Ukraine. And that's not coming back to any of us average John, Americans, right?
What they got to do with decreasing the military budget?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like we need these resources, because right now we're relying on these Asian countries for microprocessor production. So if we get these resources in Ukraine, that's going to free up that vulnerability there, because they can cut us off at any minute. And we also, like they said in the chat, we need to update our cybersecurity infrastructure.
Cybersecurity, for real.
Yeah, man, I agree with cybersecurity and maybe some of those, but like if we didn't talk about capitalism and colonialism and exploitative politics and economies, we know what's going to happen when they go in Ukraine and take these minerals. Elon Musk is going to get even richer, and they're going to talk about trickle down economics, and it might get to us or it might not. But
we
the wealth gap in this country, the wealth gap is widening. And
ain't that separate from military budget?
I think it goes hand in hand, because a lot of these people are getting their wealth from the military, from these wars. Even from the Bushes, like they're creating these wars to go and create all this wealth that they're hoarding in the top 1%.
And with Johnny, some resources, bro. Like we give them too much money. If we don't come out,
they're not giving the resources back to us. They're giving the resources back to Elon Musk.
The country has access to resources that we could use for weapons and that we can use to protect ourselves. Right now,
Elon give it to you.
All right. So what I will say is, I do think that they're trying to make a differentiation between the idea of capitalistic exploitation of countries and like the need for foreign policy. Fellas, I will also tell you, I done sat and argued with Johnny for about an hour. He don't believe in foreign policies. It'll be deep beating a dead horse. I think that's what they call it. But
so Johnny, you don't think we should have like consulates, embassies?
I was trying to move to the next that other meme. you was about to get that nigga going again.
That's isolationist, bro.
But that's Johnny. Yeah, whatever. All right. The South Carolina senator, he was up there. He was upset. He was speaking about the elimination of programs due to he didn't specifically say the word DEI, but you can kind of like, or maybe he did. G spoke about how like the idea of eliminating some of that VA people and not people, but funds. He spoke about some programs and scholarships that was aimed at Black kids. The idea of erasing or using this as a guise to erase African American studies, and what is y'all thoughts? Is this something? Is this nothing? The usage of DEI. Oh, did I play the other one? I think G, you sent in another one where
Subway.
is that
That's for the main one. That's for the main.
Yeah, that's for the main one. But nonetheless, they have pretty much eliminated out of government record. They used the example of Jackie Robinson. I think it was.
Yeah, Jackie Robinson. Yeah.
But in essence, there had been quite a few different people and anything that was dealing with like Black in general. So like Jackie Robinson's military record, I guess, had been officially erased. A couple different things. And I want to make sure I'm saying the right person. It was somebody that dealt with
How you erase a man's military record?
Off they erased them off of the military websites and stuff
the
like
database.
that. Yeah.
I don't think they erased his records. I think they erased the acknowledgement of his service.
Well,
they put him in the Hall of American Heroes.
Yeah. All right. So I guess what I'm saying is that like they
restored the page too. By the way,
they have restored it. Okay. So like so nonetheless, there was a moment when you said what?
That's so symbolic, bro. I'm so sick of Democrats using symbolism and talk about race but don't do anything about it. Like, I don't believe that there's any Black programs, especially for FBA. I don't believe COC was helping Black kids, and I don't care about African American studies.
Programs for my bad.
No, if it's the Black
Are you
program,
saying okay, you saying that you don't believe that any of those scholarships or monies was eliminated?
Not for Black people. Nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe that there was stuff that was specifically for Black people and the Republicans getting rid of. I think the Democrats have a long track record of trying to scare Black people and doing stuff and embellishing what's actually going on just to get us to go vote. And then when they get in office, they don't have time to do any of the stuff that they told us, like with like the police reform that Biden was supposed to do. He didn't do that, but he ran on it though. The George Floyd bill, they didn't do. You know what I mean? It's like they made the Emmett Till bill. They didn't use it on Emmett Till, the lady that started the whole thing. So it's like when he's sitting there, bro, we heard you over and over and over. You talk about, Trump, Republicans, racist, but you're not going to do nothing about it, bro. So quit trying to like play on Black people's emotions to get us to vote for you when you know you're not going to do anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I'll toss it to whoever wants to kind of answer him. And I guess some of the rollbacks that he stated. Is that something? Is that nothing? Again, how the term or how broadly DEI is being used, and is it something that to worry about? Is it pretty much overreaction? It sounds like
I kind of got a question too, because like as you know, as a FBA looking to establish lineage and delineation, like, but then at the same time, they're, removing programs to help specific types of people. Like, how does that help the cause long term when seemingly anything allocated to any group, regardless of the group, is being like essentially eliminated?
So are you saying if they remove a program that benefits a group of people, including us, even though we get the
I didn't already not saying what I said. You're already not saying what I said. I didn't say anything about removing what I said was
so make sure I understand, my bad.
Shout out to the chat live right now, boy. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. So look, what I said was that with this new version of DEI as a FBA in America who is fighting for delineation, lineage in this country, how does this movement of anti-DEI help those efforts when seemingly any type of funding for any quote unquote group, regardless of the group, is being eliminated? Like, how does FBA fit in a world with no DEI?
I feel like that was built. That is like a dilapidated house that's rotten to the foundation.
Wait. Can you just answer the question without
No,
all
I'm
this?
gonna try to answer like a metaphor.
Dilapidated. I didn't understand I didn't even quite understand the sentence you just said. So it's just like,
okay, these programs that you're describing, I think they're so rotten to the core that the only way we can build something that's beneficial is if we burn it completely down and start fresh.
Okay, so my question is
excavation job for us right now.
My question is specific to the goal of delineation. How does this new wave of anti-DEI impact FBA's ability to delineate and make demands? That's the question.
Okay, so now that this is out the way and we're focusing on lineage, what we need to do now is replace that stuff or work to build replacements that are lineage based.
But DEI can be lineage, lineage will fall under DEI.
It won't.
It will, bro.
It hasn't yet.
It has. They just eliminated. So
what's lineage based on the DEI? I must have missed that.
All this stuff, Asian programs, programs, Native American programs.
I didn't know Native American stuff was DEI. What exactly is DEI, man? Because you talking about reparations. I didn't know
anything that deals with diversity or equity,
is reparations not a form of? Is reparations not under the name of equity, being equitable,
bro? But they were getting reparations. DEI started when? Like, was that under Obama? They've been getting reparations before DEI, so I understand how you're forcing this like marriage.
So listen. This new wave of anti-DEI, like they've been gave money to black kids for college, but now today, no more. Not just for black kids. You're not going to set aside money for black kids to go to school in South Carolina. So like you're right. In the past, you could do things for certain groups, and there is evidence of that. So my question is, under this new regime, this new mindset, where that standard will no longer be the case, how does FBA fit within that model to, one, delineate, and then two, make a demand based off of lineage?
This don't got nothing to do with us delineating.
Okay.
Like we can delineate, like we're gonna delineate regardless. For number one, and number two, all these things that the reason they're getting rid of all these a lot of these things that are part of this DI programs, I want to see gone. So and then the best thing, the last thing we should do as Black Americans is fight for any of these programs that don't prioritize us. Because it's good to see these other people on the front lines taking the lion's share of the impact.
But I think that what G is saying is that
you just refuse to acknowledge the question. His answer to the question, Q, was no, it's not true, and it doesn't apply. So,
how do you think it will? How do you think
the whole notion of what I said? So it don't.
Hold on, G. I think using your direct wording, I think that what G is making the point is that any program that would directly prioritize Black people would also be under the guise of equity, which then makes it a DEI program. So you said that you don't like fuck with the things that don't prioritize Black people, but it's not like a one size fits all. I mean, like an isolated shoe. Like DEI fits a whole bunch of, sides as to where anything specific to Black people, FBA people, delineated people, would also fit into that, especially if it's an equity program. It'll be a diversity and an equity program.
But this is my logic though, because y'all acknowledged that we had programs helping Black people before DEI, right?
Before
DEI, we had stuff.
In which, like when you say before DEI, are you talking about like before they were because affirmative action would fall under like a DEI as well?
DEI was starting under Obama, right? Or no, was that George Floyd?
Like when you
when did DEI become a thing?
DEI is a label, but like you said, affirmative action is a form of
like according to Google, September 1965.
Yeah, the term has been around.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like you're using DEI as like an institution, but it's not.
Using DEI, I'm answering the question with the word DEI in it. So now I'm trying to understand.
No.
DEI isn't DEI. DEI.
It's at one point,
each
autism
word
was called something else. Now it's the spectrum. Now it's Asperger's. Now it's
that's how DEI works.
It's all
DEI is a specific
They
program.
spectrumed it for sure.
But that's why they would be able to, for a limited amount of time. You said that it was restored, but they would have erased out Jackie Robinson's whatever on the internet because it fell under something that fit the bill of DEI that was acceptable in the past, but they was going back
because it highlighted Blacks specifically.
And that's what it was. It was because they highlighted Black specifically. But they, of course, they fixed it. Great. But that would be an example of how something in the past would have been DEI before the term had become popularized as DEI. Whereas not specifically everything that happened after George Floyd. It's just a new label that speaks to a bunch of existing programs.
Somebody got that corporate phone, don't they?
Yeah, that's like a call center. Johnny, what you doing over there, brother?
That nigga still got the house phone going. Damn, Johnny, I ain't even.
Anybody to put on them headphones with the mic like this, ain't he?
I feel you though. I just think we're gonna be fine as Black people when we get rid of that. And I would be more concerned if it only helped Black people, but I think if it impacts these other groups, and then that'll honestly put us more on an equal playing field. Because right now, DEI kind of gives other groups a leg up over us because, under the guise of DEI, they prioritize these other groups that are competitive with us. So if they put us all on the same playing field, no more DEI, I think through merit, we will be able to rise above a lot of these people.
You think anything or much of America has ever been about merit?
I think we're running out of the reason we're in debt and we're in this position is because we didn't run things on merit. And I think as we get to a position where we don't have this stronghold on the world economy anymore, we have all these competition and everything else, we're going to have to invest in the American people. I even saw Steve Bannon, one of the lectures he did to some college in the UK. He was talking about part of the strategy for this Trump thing was to invest in Americans. And like he even said specifically investing in Black Americans as opposed to these like immigrants and stuff like that. So I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I think if they replace that with investment in Americans and we're included among Americans.
And let's kind of add like final thoughts to this, and then we'll move to the
Yeah, I got one question. I got to ask. So, do you think then, because like you say, they don't need African American history, don't need these programs. So, like, in all seriousness, would you be for them getting rid of, say, like Black History Month as something to acknowledge here in America, as well as like Juneteenth as well? Like, should we roll these things back?
I don't really care if white people acknowledge any of those things. I think it's important that we acknowledge them, though.
But like, if there was a thing that just come out to say it's no longer Black History Month, we don't, as a country,
they don't have the power to. I mean, we can still do it in the black community. We can still celebrate all that.
But that's not my question.
Oh, well, the answer to that question is I don't care if non-Black people celebrate Juneteenth or
Do you
Black
think
history.
that Black American history is important to be taught to Americans in general?
Like
It's
as in,
American
Like
history.
being intentional about teaching that in general. I think that's more so what he's asking.
I think we should teach that Crispus Attucks, the first person to die in the Revolutionary War, would have been known as a black man today. It's
Do
also
they
important.
currently teach that, or would that be
They
something?
don't teach it. No, they don't teach it now. I had everything I learned about Black history.
how much Black
I taught
history?
myself.
So like, imagine that, right? The little bit of Black history that we do get fed through our education system is by like force. How much of that do you think will get fed to people growing up without like any sort of push? Is that and you're okay with that? Is what you're saying?
You're saying right now we're getting is crumbs, right? Like based on like real Black history, what you learn when you look on your own. If you go especially if you go to a school that's not like a Black school, like the Black history that you get there, it's crumbs. I'm not tripping over crumbs.
I mean, all the history technically is crumbs. It ain't just the Black
Then
history.
I'm not tripping about crumbs. Like, why can't we teach our own Black history? Why can't we teach through this? And that's the Black churches used to do. Now they just teach you to vote.
You're not gonna be able to have them. You ain't gonna be able to have a Black school under this new DEI. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think you quite understand. Like,
well, no, but I thought he rolled back segregation. So, like the law that specifically, like ended, like banned segregation. So, like, wouldn't that allow for you to have Blacker spaces?
Hold up, Johnny. What?
I just saw something today where he rolled back he rolled back the ban against segregation in federal jobs.
Yeah, it in essence it kind of looped it. Like it was the law that prevented segregation in like a technical form for a lot of federal jobs. There was other things that was in it as well, but yes, I think that was the headline that's made the news. I haven't researched it enough, so I didn't really bring that up. But that is kind of like the clickbaity thing that's happening right now.
It's definitely clickbait because it said that so segregated facilities are no longer explicitly banned in federal contracts. They put in that weasel word explicitly.
But I don't understand how that exists in the term of like the DEI world that we live in. Because if something's if you can segregate something, wouldn't that automatically make it DEI?
I don't think they're bringing back no colored water fountains, bro.
Oh, well,
I know that's not what you said, but when you think segregation,
even if it's white only, but even if it falls under white only, wouldn't that be?
You think they're bringing back white only water fountains?
No, I think Johnny's making the opposite point. I think Johnny is saying that white only water fountains would be DEI, and so like it wouldn't be applicable within. Even if they rolled it back, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, like if they rolled it back, like it doesn't. It's a non-movement. Yeah, it doesn't move the needle because like they're rolling it back. But even segregation would fall
under DEI.
Yeah.
All right. So nonetheless, use the buzzword segregation. Do have a quick meme to play, and then from there we can get into this conversation. Well, actually. I'll ask this filler question first. Has the fight for equality helped or hurt us? We'll keep it like really, really general right now. However you kind of like look at equality, that could be specific to Black people, that could be specific to, whichever version of a socioeconomic and or gender or, equity, diversity, whatever. Has the fight for equality helped or hurt us? Hey, Black, let's start with you.
I mean, I think I wouldn't say hurt will be the word I would use, but it hasn't helped like I think the initial push was. I think even Martin Luther King, near the end of his tenure, said that he was integrating us into a burning house. I think equality is subjective. You know, you can't really make nobody see you as equal. So, you know, we should be pushing for equity, making sure we have the same opportunities, the same access to things. But as far as humans seeing you as an equal to them, like that's kind of a subjective thing. I think equity should have been our push. I think separation should have been held as long as we are getting equal things and kind of getting us, you know, we went through slavery, going through Jim Crow, indentured servitude. So let us separate, let us build ourselves up, make sure, let us get the same amount of equity that they have and the same opportunities in education and housing and everything. And then if we want to integrate on the same playing field, then cool. But I think a lot of people saw being in the same room, being in the same store, being on the same bus in school as like equality, not knowing that, all right, we're going to let y'all in, but we're still not going to really give y'all the equity you need. We're still going to let you in the schools, but we're going to treat the black kids differently. You know, we're going to have white teachers and tell the black kids that you can only be this or that, you know, so they still had different tactics within integration. So I think in the long run, we see that, you know, now that we own less than we did in the early 1900s, we haven't progressed in a lot of ways economically, that integration, assimilation in some senses didn't really, you know, benefit us. It kind of made us docile. It kind of, you know, made us quiet down, but we should have, you know, kept our neighborhoods, kept our schools, circulated our dollar, and, you know, built up through the generations to really get on an equal footing. And then if we want to integrate and go on the other side of town and do those things, cool. Like, it shouldn't be laws against it, but I think that our leaders should have focused on, you know, building our communities. Like, I think they thought that, you know, you look on the other side of the tracks, like, we need to be there so we can have what they have, instead of we don't got to be there, but we do need to have what they have. We need the same books, we need the same clothes, we need the same hospitals, we need the same things, but in our communities, because, you know, we've been under their foot for hundreds of years now. So integrating is not the best thing to do, because these people still hate us. You know, although it's not legal to enslave us or legal to do certain things, they still internally hate us. So, you know, you're moving into their neighborhood, they're not liking you. You're going to their school, they're not liking you. You're going into their store, they following you. So it's like, why you subject that self to that toxic atmosphere? Stay in your neighborhood, build yourself up, and let's see what it gets us. You know, we'll have ownership. We have these things that, you know, we don't have. So overall, it didn't really benefit us. But I think the intention was good. I don't really blame them. I just think that in the context of the time that they were living in, it seemed like, you know, being together or breaking down those barriers would help us. But a lot of our leaders, like I mentioned, Martin Luther King, and some was already on that separatist shit, that they realized, like, oh, they're not the standard, you know, and they looked at them as the standard, but white people were never the standard. They were never better than us. They had better things, better opportunities, but morally, spiritually, they always been defunct. And we should have fought for equity and, you know, keeping ourselves separate and building our community, building our nation, our own nation, and then kind of seeing where that took us.
Now, let me build on, because I think, like, it did hurt us, because, like, we were so focused on equity and diversity within, like, the lens of, like, race and color, ethnicity, but we didn't see the long run game where, like, they're gonna get us to split our community and our community within different classes, and then they was gonna make it a classism game, and they controlled the top class. And so I think that's where it hurt us, where, like, if we were able to keep ourselves together, we could have moved amongst the classes as a community, but we were so focused on equity as it came to race that we didn't even focus on, like, a classism thing. We were so worried about being the first rich black person, and we didn't see how that was, you know, kind of dividing our community, where we had unity at one point, but our chase for racial equity and racial equality separated us when it comes to classism. And I think that's where, we're having to regroup and we're seeing, people try to come together. But I think that was the biggest thing is we were looking at it as a racial game, and in the long run, they was looking at it as a classism game.
G, talk to us. Has the fight for equality helped or hurt us?
I gotta pretty much echo what A Black and Johnny been saying, man. Like, has it had some benefits? Of course, you could point to some things, but I think when you look at just data from related to Black community, when it comes to, all types of things from family data statistics in terms of like marriage rates, in terms of like our community and like how much of the dollar actually cycles within our community versus today, what we own, what we don't own today. Like, man, we gave up a lot of economic power in those times, and it wasn't always by choice either, right? So I'm not even trying to sit here and say like, like people just say, oh, we don't want to do this, or because there are some instances where things were destroyed, stolen, etc. But I think overall, man, we took our, that whole civil rights movement was such a powerful movement, but at the same time, it really took what's the right word? It took like a lot of the power within the community. It just took it outsourced it and took it elsewhere. It's like we had a lot of resources going on within our community, and then once like seemingly the Civil Rights Act got signed, it's like all that power within the community just started leaving, going elsewhere, and
fighting for racial equality.
Yeah, and so I just think we should have kept things concentrated, kept encouraging especially our, when we start talking about our what I would say our advantage, our comparative advantage as a culture is we should have really like owned, say, our pipeline of professional athletes and entertainers in a different way, like nurtured them through HBCUs, nurtured them through our own institutions, making sure that we have our own labels, distribution, all that stuff, which did exist at one point and things got phased out. So I wish we would have really just kept things more vertically integrated and building on that versus the results that ended up taking place once things got integrated.
Gotcha. Trey, did you go?
Oh, nah. But yeah, I think adding legislation, like specifically for our protection, was an excellent thing. But I think we dropped the ball with that, though, where, MLK's plan was two-part. The first part was social integration to get us, access to our tax dollar funded infrastructure, which is valid because, they shouldn't be building anything with our tax money that we don't have access to. So from that instance, I see how desegregation is important, but we didn't have to think the white man's ice was colder, because this is where Claude Anderson talks about how the two things that mess up Black society is, one being economically deprived and stolen from, the other thing is dysfunctional behavior. And I think the dysfunctional behavior on our end is, of course, we were set up for a lot of this stuff. Like at that time, there was more solidarity between the classes among Black society, where the people, because we were all stuck together, right? We couldn't leave the community. So we had our street elements, people running the numbers, all the other stuff, the pool halls. We also had the people that were more, the business end too, and they were able to work together. But as soon as we got access to be able to integrate within white society, a lot of the people that were more affluent, kind of that connection between the grassroots was broken. So they started doing things like they were just happy to be able to shop at the white stores and to be able to date interracially. And then that they ended up putting stuff like that above collective Black empowerment, especially collective Black economic empowerment. And we're seeing the consequences of that trickle down even into present day. So I think a lot of what we talk about in these FBA spaces, how do we course correct and pick up the energy from the generation that was supporting Malcolm X and go back to that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I guess I'll ask a bit of a follow-up question. So did segregation end or did black exploitation start? Where I guess one could look through the guise of, generally speaking, for at least another 20 years, there wasn't like a heavy move of black people to many, if any, of the suburbs or anything like that. There was a slow trickle of black kids to certain schoolings and different things like that. But generally speaking, black people, and it still kind of exists to this day, even in Charlotte. Like, you go to the west side of Charlotte, you go to a part of the north side of Charlotte, and just a part of the south side of Charlotte, and a part of the east side of Charlotte. These are like the black areas. But then there's like specific parts that's white areas. Like, you don't know a lot of people in the Myers Park area. You don't know a lot of people that like black people that live near inside like deep South Charlotte, where like these are existing homes that haven't been built anytime recently or like within the past 20 years. So Johnny, it looks like you kind of want to attack the question first. Did segregation end, or did black people stay inside those same spots, but they just exploited $1 and our athletic talents?
I think, like what you say, the black exploitation era started. And I was trying to do quick research. I think it's Trick Baby. But if you go into some of the black exploitation films back in the day, there's a scene where it's a white liberal and a white conservative, and they're talking about how,
like a round table.
And they're having that round table about how we can't let them in our spaces. And then that one guy was like, no, we have to let them in our spaces because that's the only way we're going to be able to control them. And I think it's so amazing that they were able to like have that awareness in real time when that was happening. And it's kind of so disappointing that we lost that awareness of what was happening as the years went by. Like, they were making films about how we know what these white people are doing, and then
let me play the scene for you real quick.
Yeah, that's it right there. But that tell you exactly what happened. That's 1974.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out, and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
I mean,
all right.
That's speaking better than I ever could. But if you say the end of segregation, the beginning of black exploitation, that's it right there.
I know, that's crazy. Like, one of us make niggas think that they entitled to white women and everything.
Bro, we entitled to, as men, we entitled to whatever white man.
What that had to do with white women?
It didn't have nothing to do with it, bro. But I'm not as black men, we entitled to whatever white men are entitled to.
Had nothing to do
and whatever white women are entitled to, too, for that matter. They was just trying to vote a black woman into office with a white husband. Nobody said boo. But I bet if Kamala was in office, they still would have been tripping looking at the NBA draft. I'm not with that hypocrisy, bro.
I think we were talking about left and right.
Right. Yeah. But if you look at that video,
I was
bro,
replying to the clip about raising niggas in the burbs so that they come up thinking that they white. Didn't that what it said? Is that not what the clip said?
I
Said
don't know what
I
it's
see
saying.
how you put
You
that
can know
together.
you black and then still.
Hey,
no,
you
he
a
said
slippery-
take
hey,
them out
G,
like
G, you a slippery nigga.
he
You a
said
slippery
he said
nigga,
no
G.
wait did y'all not see
You
the
a
clip?
slippery nigga, G.
Did y'all not see the clip?
Yeah.
He
that
talked
don't
about
got nothing to
specifically
do.
He said
making
outside of-
sure that you quote unquote don't leave quote unquote the smart ones like the STEM
yeah.
niggas, the engineers and shit. Leave them. You got to remove them, put them in whitewash situations so that they grow up thinking that
We more like
one
a
of them.
PWI or something like that.
Yeah, and they go to exactly.
Stop.
They learn the white man's language, read the
That's
white man's
not-
books, adopt
that's
the white
not
man's
what it's supposed to
ideology,
go.
Like
so
the
they
white
can
man's woman.
feel
Nigga,
like a
or,
white
you,
man.
or you can go to a HBCU and learn to be a feminist and a Democrat. So I mean,
Y'all took
pick
this
your
shit
poison.
and like this went a totally different like route than I was expecting. Goddamn, I was expecting some unity, and y'all found some division.
I thought it was a great clip, Johnny. So I mean, the unity's there, brother. It was an awesome clip.
Yeah, but I think it's crazy how we see clips like that, like how strategic and diabolical and insidious they are with like sabotaging us and instructing everything we do. And we see that and we think we're our own worst enemy. And the only way I think we are our worst enemy is by saying stuff that we are our own worst enemy, because clearly we got people committed to destroying us. And instead of organizing like an intelligent defense against that, we just want to point the finger and blame each other, and act as if like the only reason we're in this position is because we just can't get right. So it's crazy how they were more mindful of these people pulling the levers of power, when in reality, like,
thank you.
Like, how do we forget all that?
Right. That's this. I agree.
Great rebuttal, Trey.
I imagine that's why we
I
shouldn't.
ain't gonna get derailed by the.
That's why we shouldn't blame the
Umar
black
agenda.
woman gynocracy.
I mean, there is a gynocracy, bro. Like, there's enough people that are getting hip to it, bro. Like, I think 10 years
I think
ago,
you'll be blaming black women for the issue.
I don't
And
blame
then
black
everything
women
you
for none
just
of this,
said.
bro. I blame the men for refusing to hold them accountable, because that's our job.
Okay, but then you're blaming. But then you're still blaming a group.
No, I'm blaming black men for neglecting their responsibility to. Like, black people are.
Well, either way,
to
you're still blaming
black
like a
women.
specific group that you
But
just.
I
you
think
wouldn't
that's
do
our
because it's-
responsibility as black men. Like, it's our responsibility to recognize what we're up against.
So
I
you're
think a lot of
blaming
black
us,
people.
Trey, as a whole. You included.
No. Just like black men.
Yeah.
Not all black people though.
But no, Trey got to
Nah.
be included because he a black man. So that's us.
Yeah, as a black man, I'm part of the collective that's
part of the
most
problem.
fault.
Yeah, he didn't want to say part of the problem. He wanted to reword that. He was like,
No.
is this?
I'm part of the collective that is part of the problem, or is the problem. Because I think as a man, our responsibility is to lead our community. But instead, we have people confused about whether you can raise a little girl the same way you raise a little boy, or if you should raise a daughter to be a wife or raise a boy to be a husband. We don't think we should do that no more.
Or if you should like marry black women and date black women.
I think
and have black women in the community.
I think if we raise more black women to be wives, then you wouldn't have to worry about so many black men leaving the community. But if you can't at the same time get mad at black men for
what?
No, hear me out.
Hold on, y'all gonna let this nigga say that?
He watched the
Hold on. Did y'all hear what this nigga just said?
I heard. He watched it and clearly felt the way.
Did you hear what he just said?
This is the contradiction. Black men leaving the black community has nothing to do with like any problems.
It's black men's fault that women in the position they in, but yet it's women's fault black men leaving the community because of how the. So is it niggas? Niggas are shoot themselves in the foot, is what you saying? They're like niggas are causing their own reason for leaving the community.
Johnny, save them.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Feminist niggas like you guys.
Nah, nigga. Nah,
bro. I guarantee you, if
Trey, don't let me
if black men thought like me, our system would be in check, bro.
Oh yeah,
Trey. You know,
hey, fellas, no ad hominem. I see exactly where this is about to go.
But
go ahead.
He don't even live his raps, Q. It don't go nowhere. He don't even live the raps he talking about. No, he don't live none of the raps. He don't live none of his raps.
What raps don't I live?
None of them.
None of them. Like what?
None of them.
Oh,
give us one, G.
No, none of them. Nothing he
Johnny,
says
stop
he lives
instigating.
by. None of it. None of it. None of it.
Vague. I mean,
tell me one that you do. How about that? Tell me one thing you do live by.
Hey fellas, let's throw the
told you
the only guy that is not oh dang, A Black left. I was just about to throw it to him. So
many great
we
examples.
Immediate.
I can tell you one example of how I live my rap though, if you want me to.
Please.
I don't go with none of that gynocratic BS, bro. It's women that are about that shit. I don't rock with that shit at all, bro. And they know not to even come at me with that stuff.
That's like, easy to say when you
I do all
like
the patriot
with a woman.
I do all the not patriotic
without a woman by your side, right? It's easy to talk like that when you don't have nothing by your side. Like
I'm not married? You mean I'm not married?
Married, serious, fiance, like somebody you claim publicly, any of the above?
Yeah,
I got somebody I claim. I've had people I claim my whole life.
See, so exactly. It's easy to talk about how you live in the dark. It's easy to talk about how you live in the dark. I would have more appreciation for niggas who like live their raps out in public, like no fear of judgment. You
got your black woman that you build in community.
If I got a white woman on my arm, I step out with my chest out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel shamed about it.
Y'all be
real raps.
This out here a lot. Like
you don't think I've done that before?
Real raps. I don't know. You often talk about how it frustrates you and you are bothered by the judgment. So I don't know.
Well, John, have you seen me? I mean, you can be honest, bro. You seen me
outside with white women?
Yeah.
So how is that productive for like building black community? Like you just said, black men are the fault for the black community, but you are saying that you're helping the black community by being outside with white women. How does that make any sense at all?
Well, how does enabling behavior?
So you're not going to answer the question. You're not going to answer the question at all.
Okay, no, all right, fine.
You're saying that we are the problem, but then you're dating white women out in public.
That was the past.
He just asked you if you.
Johnny, that's the present, baby.
I've seen him in the past.
Well, you must not have just recently been in the chat, like 30 minutes before the show. But yeah, like. But what you're saying, like right now, you're making a contradictory statement, though. If you're saying black men are the issue, if you're saying black men are the issue when it comes down to the black community and their need for leadership in the black community, but you are currently not invested in the community inside family, you're not invested in the community as in building like with a black woman to actually make sure that we have better women inside our lineage or better ideals and are raising daughters to have these better ideals. And you're spending the time outside with white women proudly with your chest out. I don't see how there's not like you just asked Johnny.
You just
had Johnny back you up and G said that. You be outside with your chest out, like tight polo open, chest hair showing. And you said, "Hey Johnny, tell this nigga, I be outside with the Patagonia."
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. You gotta listen, bro. I said, I've been.
You have been. You don't do it no more.
And I said in the past,
you delivered.
I said,
okay, so you delivered.
So you don't live by those raps anymore. So you have. So you're reformed.
I don't have more than one girl at a time.
Oh, okay? I like this new.
That's good. I'm pro monogamy too.
But so you are also like, are you like so you're no longer with white women anymore, right?
My shawty right now is black.
Okay,
if she wasn't white, I would be in public with her. I don't care. That's my point. So you're telling me I can only live one rap at a time, huh?
No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, your shorty right now might not be your shorty later. So at the end of the day, the raps you living by, I don't know she down with your program. I don't know you talk like this in front of her. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know. You just said I don't live my raps. Now you don't know. Which one?
I know you don't do it. I know you don't do it.
Okay, you know I don't.
I do know you don't do it. I do know.
Now you know.
I do know.
Wild boy, G.
So you just knew, but now you don't know.
I do know.
You didn't know. Now you know. How you know, G?
I'm positive.
You know? All that shit.
Positive.
Well, try, like you.
Positive.
I think the only way that you
positive.
I think you forget like you make.
I know black women. I know black women. I know that, and I know positively positively ain't no black woman gonna listen to you talk about her fellow peers the way that you do, and then just be like, oh, bow down, my king, my leader, and so forth and so forth.
My king, my leader. You added a bunch of extra on the end.
But you
know
did
how
say
I
that
feel
you.
about Megan.
That's how you like
know how I
it.
feel about-
No, that's how you
know-
like it. That's how you like it.
Hey, y'all
say that shit?
underestimating black women. They be with the program, bro. And
They
Q,
do,
you
bro.
know too.
Like,
I know what.
No,
black
you know
women,
for sure,
like,
black
ain't
women
that
will never be
liberal.
with the program.
A lot of black women aren't that.
There's a
liberal.
difference between a program and what Trey's talking about. Trey got his own program. So Johnny, if your program is Trey's program, then I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. But then again, I don't see the proof in what y'all are saying. That's just what I'm saying. The
all
proof
men
ain't
don't
there.
have feminist. All of us aren't feminist gynocrats, bro. Some of us men are still like with the patriotism, bro. Like not all of us are feminists. So just because that's how you are isn't a reflection of the rest of black society, bro. I know you watched The Color Purple like 7 times, but some of us didn't watch that at all.
Say it with your chest. That like you think
I said it with my chest.
So like just because you go change the brakes and you go change the brakes in the driveway, and so that make you a man, right?
I'll take care of the car. I'll take care of the house.
I didn't watch The Color Purple and I changed brakes. I'm a man. Like that shit don't matter nothing to me, bro.
That's
a very low. That's a low vibrational masculinity.
I mean, to a feminist, yeah, of course.
There's nothing wrong with being a feminist.
Oh, thanks for just saying that shit, right, bro? Exactly.
Yeah, it's
getting out of my masculine mode, bro, because I ain't want to get to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to.
The most masculine thing you can, the most masculine thing you can be is a feminist.
Jalen Ramsey, big dog.
Say what?
Oh damn! You don't want to know what he just said, but
but Johnny, you're right. You hit the nail on the head.
What Jalen Ramsey do?
What you just did?
Don't look it up. You probably ain't gonna like it.
We gonna be beefing, bro. Don't look it up. Bro.
Hey, it's very saucy, very saucy. But hey, look,
some shit like that. What the fuck he said?
Like zesty?
Oh, super zesty.
Yeah, it was zesty.
Fresh zest.
So now
fresh
I'm
zest.
zesty. Now I'm zesty because I'm out of in what they call it, feminism. That makes me zesty. G.
That's what
the women do, bro.
Trey, redirect, Trey, redirect.
G didn't say that. G didn't say
it. Redirect your energy, nigga. Redirect it.
I made a joke.
John know I ain't on that zesty.
Yeah, I made a joke.
One and for two, that's what females do when they can't prove their point. They immediately start talking about, "Oh, you must be gay because you don't know how to handle."
You must be accustomed to that, huh?
I see how
a lot of experience with that. Do a lot of women tell you that when you get arguments? That's not something that I tend to deal with at all.
Not me personally, because I don't really deal with unruly.
So why are you saying that happens a lot? If you don't like, what do you mean?
There aren't a lot of unruly women around me.
This is currently our off the rails section. We're gonna give them a little bit runway.
So does it happen a lot, or does it not really happen?
But Johnny, when you feel like it's time to move on, we'll move on.
It doesn't happen.
You say what?
I don't
feel like it's time to move on, we'll move on. But this is our off the rails section.
The one person I was dating that was kind of like that, bro. I blocked the number. I don't like that. She don't know I exist no more. The few times when girls get out of pocket, I say remember Jazz. Old school in college, John. She was out of pocket. Yeah, Schizo. And Kayla.
Hey, chill. You ain't gotta say the name.
All right, my bad. Yeah, right. They out of pocket.
Okay, bro. Like,
I don't tolerate none of that stuff.
Like you ain't
I
gotta
live my reps.
Hey, Trey, I had a smashed iPhone though, but we can move on.
But I handled that though, right?
We can move on.
I handled that.
Yeah, that was a crazy. Yeah,
I manned up. You know what I mean? It was my shawty, my responsibility. She attacked she did something with her and broke the homie stuff. You know, I handled it, cut off.
That don't sound like you handle it if my nigga shit got broke, but that's just a different. But I get your version of leadership. I got it.
I mean, when somebody crosses the line, you dismiss them.
That means that they didn't have no respect for you when they cross lines like that, right?
Then you deal with it.
Yeah,
when they disrespect, you cut them off.
I think it's time.
Okay, all right. So, fellas, so fellas, let's get back to again. We were talking about, has the fight for equality helped or hurt us? Again, if y'all would like to sponsor our off the rail section, we are pitching sponsorships for Unpacked. You would like to see your name right where Kofi is saying the statement that he's saying. Or better yet, when Steve, there we go. When Steve is saying what he's saying, we could be pitching you right now when Trey and G are going at each other's necks. But pause. But nonetheless, let's get back on the rails. And again, under the guise of, has the fight for equality helped or hurt us? Was integration, was it necessary to get access to certain wealth and resources?
Nope.
Were they going to make sure that they capped Black prosperity at a certain level if we stayed segregated?
No, I think we had examples in the past of where we exceeded their expectations.
What they do?
They came, but like I think we would have kept at it, that they would no longer have the excuse to militantly take these things away. We just had to keep going back to the, like, yeah, it sucks to rebuild, but if you keep on rebuilding,
but what, I guess what in the past would have led us to think that if they had not made or like passed like integration laws, if like they were intentional about making sure that Blacks didn't have access to like redlining, like that's one of the more simpler ways. Like you didn't have access to wealth in the properties, in the real estate that would actually build wealth over the next 50 to 70 years. When they were doing city planning, we weren't involved in it inside any of these spaces. Again,
but I think it just goes back.
We didn't have access to jobs that made that amount outside of like.
But I think in our communities, if you go back to Tulsa, if you go back to Redwood and Wilmington before the insurrection, there were Black people that were in all different sectors of the economy, and they were bringing that money back to their own communities. And so I think the integration, the integration would have made it. I don't understand how it plays in that, but I know before integration we had our own communities, and they got destroyed. But even up until like recently, before our own community, we were still in. There were Black high schools. Both of my parents went to all Black high schools.
Yeah, like most cities have like 95% Black high schools. Or it'd be up to like 90, like Hillside and Southern Durham.
But I'm talking about Black. I'm talking about not Black by like designated, but Black by legally Black.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is that, like to me, there is some mixed schools, but like majority of schools, like if I'm just looking at Charlotte,
there's no all white schools for the most part.
No, what you wouldn't use the word all at all, but there's hyper majority white and hyper majority Black schools for sure.
But I think
like when you start going into like the 90%.
Okay, cool, but
85%, like that's a hyper majority.
But even the thing I'm talking about is there was Black, like before, when there was segregation, like instead of going to a white doctor, you would go to a Black doctor in your community. Instead of going to the white grocery store, you'd go to the Black grocery store, and it kept our dollars circulating in our own community. Where when you get into integration, our dollar is circulating in that white community way more, and it leaves our community so much faster. And so I think that's the difference. I gotta plug my computer up. I'm gonna sit back and die. But like I think that's the difference as far as like when we integrated, they were able to like take the dollar out of specifically just our community.
Yeah, dilute it and exploit it.
And dilute it and take it and then just give us crumbs, where before we had us if you can't go to the white restaurant, if it's the restaurant's white only, guess what we gonna do? We still gonna eat. If it's a Black restaurant, where we gonna eat at? Versus if you take that away, everybody gonna eat at this restaurant, and we'll just shut the Black restaurant down completely. And I think that's the difference. And I think
Black people start just eating at white restaurants. Did we start liking white people food?
They was yes, like there's a thing in Rock Hill, the Friendship. Now we was sitting in at white lunch
But
tables.
that's a sit-in. But like, did we actually? They was just doing it just because like it was
But
making.
you could look at the numbers and you could see like.
I know.
Yes,
I'm asking. So what's the numbers that?
I wasn't around back then, so I couldn't see the social. I couldn't see like the social change and.
But black
like
people did start liking to eat white people food.
Yeah.
And then when did we make the switch back to like liking just black people food again?
Once we realized they ain't season that shit, but I guess, but
How long that
it was a point where we wanted to go into them. Like you seen the movie Life, they were trying to get them white pies. They wanted them white pies.
I know, but once you taste the white pie once, that white only pie, you like.
It take a while to realize they don't use the same seasoning. They were Great Britain went all across the world trying to steal spices. They ain't used none one of them.
Every time I taste something once, I know what it tastes like and know if I want to eat it again.
Okay, but that's you. But I'm just saying there was a reason why, like, we was fighting to get in these white restaurants, even though we know we cook better than them. It was a reason.
I know for sure. I guess I'm only asking, like how much of the black spending power.
Well, these restaurants would feed us in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like that. Like it wasn't like they wouldn't service black people at all. Oftentimes they'd be like, you gotta go to the back and get your food. You gotta go out back, or like treat it like second class citizens.
But that made the food be better though, because like if you could get it in the back versus in the front, you could be like, nah, this shit gotta taste better in the front.
Yeah, it's
like it's a psychological.
No, for sure.
No, it's definitely psychological though.
It's psychological,
and that's why we spent all this time trying to integrate.
Like sitting on the bus, it's psychological on the front or the back.
Or it's just a status symbol.
But they
status symbol, yeah.
They talk about restaurants and going to the back of some white ass restaurants. And instead of going to the black restaurant,
man.
we know we cook better than them. So why were we trying to go to these white restaurants if it wasn't psychological?
Right, but saying all that to say and keep it back on track, would they have allowed us access to wealth, resources, and how would we have kept them from capping black prosperity if that's not been the thing that during the entirety of segregation that they did? They capped black prosperity up until when the whole movement or when the laws got passed, and still after that.
I think it goes to capitalism because like a lot of the even the Black Panther movements and stuff, they were looking to get funding from other places that didn't necessarily align with democracy. And you can see America even do that in other countries.
They killed the Black Panther movement also.
But they gave us another option, so we didn't continue going a militant route. They gave us a diplomatic or economic route, so we didn't have to continue a diplomatic route. But you see this even in like Syria or Sudan, where America will back one side, Russia will back another side, and they just continue like a war. And I think there was one point where they realized the black community in America could go communist. And instead of letting us go communist, they just pretended to tap us into the capitalist wealth of this country, but they still didn't really do that. But
I think they just killed the leaders and kept black people poor.
But
like,
they gave us integration after they killed.
No. Black Panthers was after integration. That was in the 70s.
We had other like equivalents. Like we had the Black Liberation Army and Deacons of Defense and all kinds of civil rights was not all holding hands and marching and getting beat on. We had
but eventually we looked at integration as the capitalistic solution to our problems when it really wasn't. Community.
Them niggas, they had way more fight in them back then, bro. They're like people really only looking.
And I don't know if it was like capitalistic based as much as it was like access to like the resources, i.e., like to educate. No. Well, yes, resources could be leveraged as capital, but I think more so like whether it's like the education, the access to the different institutions and different shit like that, i.e., or access to government services, i.e., like transportation and shit like that. That's why a lot of the major boycotts and things ended up being along the lines of school and transportation.
Like it was also, but it's like it was like you said, the psychological element of thing. Like we had things, but our version of it was significantly worse than the white version, like everywhere. So it's like, even if there was a water fountain, the colored fountain versus the white fountain look ridiculous. The colored swimming pool versus the white swimming pool looks completely different. Like, and so I think it's like I said, I don't think it's about the capitalistic part of it, but it really, to me, it really was about this idea of, I think the black people at the time really wanted, quote unquote, fair treatment. Like, they wanted the same thing as, quote unquote, white folks. Like, not more than, not less than. They just wanted to get treated the same, access to the same opportunities and facilities without being treated like second class citizens. It's like, it's not a tough ask.
Man, I know people whose grandparents, because they couldn't go to the doctor, they had to like go to the veterinarian to get like stitches and stuff like that. Like we didn't even have access to be able to go to the doctor's office in some of these communities because they were segregated. So I mean, if you're talking about getting access to stuff like that, I mean, I think it's perfectly valid for them to get a segregation. As far as get rid of segregation, but as far as like the capitalism side and abandoning a lot of our own communities and going to these white restaurants, I think there's two parts to that. Like Carl Anderson said that his family's cab company was destroyed after integration. Like, so instead of like but during the boycott, a lot of these black companies got more business. So like after we got, so that's one reason, like one example of a lot of the businesses that we have getting less, getting patronized less. But also you got to look at like these highway acts, because they said like, well, we rebuilt Tulsa, and then they did the highway act and put a road right through it, and they did that all over the nation. So a lot of these black businesses that we probably would have patronized if they were still there were intentionally destroyed. At the same time, they were giving us access to the white stuff as well.
Right. And I like that goes to, in essence, the question that I was asking, where if black wealth did exist and started becoming prosperous, what keeps them from exercising eminent domain, as you're saying with the highways, to make sure that they keep their their foot on black people's neck? What leverage would we have had to make sure that this didn't happen?
What leverage do we have now?
Well, it's not answering like questions.
I mean, it's the same leverage. Like they didn't have no.
The answer would be none, and that would then be an appeal to like why we needed segregation, I guess. I mean, integration.
But like, if you think about those times of the 60s, right? I think another kind of like thing that changed around that time period. Like, if you think about, like, if I listen to my mom and her siblings talk about growing up, this idea of, say, going to McDonald's was like a huge treat. Like, this was like if we went to McDonald's, it was like, oh shit, we going to McDonald's. Like, it was like a thing, like it was a special outing. And like my grandparents on both sides had gardens. A lot of the food that was in the kitchen came from the garden. They were growing the vegetables. And they ate a lot of vegetables. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like in the South, niggas ate tomato sandwiches and shit like that. Like,
that's disgusting, but I get what you said.
But I'm for real. The older generation was eating shit like that. Like the meal would be mad, like basic, and it would be like that's what it was. So I think one of the underrated things about this is the food industry really got a hook in our community in a way that it didn't used to, say, prior to integration as well.
But it's a lot of things that got the hooks.
We could actually produce the majority of the food we needed to live at one point prior to integration. We had farmers, we had communities. It was like a bunch of, bartering. We grew this, you grew that. Like, you knew the right people in the community to trade with who had the gardens and stuff. Like, you could source food and nutrition as well as housing. Even like niggas would get together and build houses and build frames and shit like that. Once we stopped doing that sort of stuff and now to eat, we have to depend on these industries. To have a home, we have to depend on these things versus being able to self-source it like we could. I think that went away with integration too. And I don't know necessarily why, but I see the timeline correlating.
I got another one to build on G's point, and this is like a very stark, very recognizable difference in our community before and after. It's just music. Look at like Motown and like the power that black people had in music before integration, and like how they own labels and they was moving, and then after integration, a lot of that got sold and bought by these mega corporations. And now you got artists, even the biggest artists in the world, they're still getting exploited by motherfuckers that don't look like us.
Clive
And
Davis.
yeah, Lucian. There's a bunch of names that we could go on that don't look like us, that don't represent our community. But like when it comes to our music, or quote unquote the music that represents us, they getting the payday off of it, and it's black people that's getting pennies on the dollars on our creativity, our music, our magic, and the things that like music is it's a clear thing. Like we do that better than anybody. Like that's our thing. They stole that directly from us, and now they're the ones that getting the majority of the dollars, and we getting the pennies on the dollars. And I think
And John,
that
do you
goes
think
directly. You can look at the integration, the timeline, and there's a direct correlation between that and how our music masters and we've got.
But John, do you think the black collective, for the most part, recognize how like intentional and like insidious all this stuff was? Like they planned like
No, Trey,
50
I
years
said that
ahead.
earlier. No, they was playing racial inequality. They were playing racial equality. They just wanted to be the first black. Everybody wanted to be the first black this, the first black that. And what that do, that separate your community, because it's the first black person in this industry, the first black person in that, and it's not a it's not a equal representation in all these communities. It's just the first one gets celebrated, the first one, then there's a struggle for all of that. So like it definitely, you need to see the breakdown, because when we integrated, we separated our communities. Instead of having all the all the best black doctors in one spot, all the best black doctors got split up amongst everything else.
I get that, but I'm talking about like the elders or the people that are supposed to like give us direction and stuff. Like, do you think it seems like we make a move, and then the opposition has like a 5-step counter to what we did that's gonna make us take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back, and we don't. And we over here just thinking we are our own worst enemy. Meanwhile, we don't know that we're playing into a trap.
But I don't think
Right.
like if you go back to Trick Baby, I don't think people realize how insidious the game was. I think they really thought like they really had
They
true
still
faith.
don't.
Yeah, but it's not an intentional thing where they intentionally sold us out. I think they really thought they might have been doing the right thing.
But they don't see it now. Even in hindsight, they don't see.
A quick pause. So, Trey, I think that you're at like a really interesting space in which I think that I've probably said this. I think A Black's probably said this before too. I think that what you just said is the idea that a lot of us take in general. When it comes down to a lot of times things are like they do communities, like a lot of things are master planned, in which there's a lot of times we would think that we can think that we are taking 2 steps forward, but this is actually a trap, and it ends up moving us 5 steps back.
Stefan Gilmore.
And like being like intentional about questioning and asking for clarity on a lot of things that one might seem like frivolous or on the fringe or pointless. This is also giving cover to make sure that there's no holes inside the like plot to make sure that things get actually done. So if things can be like again poked holes in and then you can fix it, that makes it a lot stronger, especially before it gets to quote unquote like this major level to where you can understand, is this actually beneficial or is this a trap? But if everything is not like properly vetted, I think that's the word that politicians use, from both sides of like an idea, then again, you really don't know what you're actually walking into. And a lot of these things could be civil rights all over again, the 90s crime bill all over again, where people did things that they thought were good, but the outcome ended up being very reprehensible.
And I think I get where you're going. I think I know what conversation you're talking about. And I think there's a balance because you're right. If you don't think things all the way through, then you can make a strategic blunder, and then they count on us doing that. But at the same time, I think that you can plebiscite indefinitely and then do a lot of intellectual, like non-productive, like just think forever and ever, and then not think about the first step to get this thing some legs. And if your priority isn't getting some momentum going and you just want to debate, like they were talking about at the reparations board, people were talking about, no, I want my $1,000 like this. No, I want it like this. No, I want 2,000, not 10,000. Like, no, we need to be talking about how we get this thing moving instead of talking about how we're going to spend the money and everything like that.
Well, I think you can do like multiple things at the same time. I think that
there's like both ends. You have
having like a cogent, foolproof plan that has like a very linear sense is important. I know that this isn't like popular within the movement, but I do think that if the I'm about to say that. Okay. I'm about to say that. I do movement. Like the movement for reparations delineation or the FBA movement, whichever one. Like,
respectfully, I don't think you like. I don't think you're very familiar.
Hey, let him go, Trey.
Don't even know what a means, man. Could you be?
Bro, Trey, again, like I can tell you how Trey, I can tell you how unfamiliar you are with the movement to where like you use different words.
FBA movement. Not FBA.
No, I'm saying like you tell me that the identification is like a tantamount part of delineation, but then it doesn't exist on a website. But if we're continuing,
be specific, because he's trying to say that there's no part of the okay.
That's his whole strategy, just to fuck shit up. Let me make shit confusing as hell. I'm gonna make shit confusing as hell and just.
It's not confusing to everybody.
Trey, but let him go.
Yeah, he look like he have Asian.
I heard that.
All right, I got you. Tell me about the FBA movement, Q.
Who look like you half Asian, nigga?
No, it caught you squinting real crazy. It buffered up for a second.
Hey, I don't look half Ethiopian. Oh, goddamn.
Hey, Q, go.
My bad. Where was that? I kind of forgot where I was.
Q, go. They better.
You were about to tell me about the FBA movement.
No, it was a very specific point with it. Yeah,
you were saying that the FBA movement. This is not very popular in the FBA movement, but
so yeah, I was saying how like multiple things can be true at the same time. Where do I think that like having a very cogent like plan and structure to making sure that all efforts to enact delineation and get reparations is cogent and makes sense and like it's foolproof for sure. Do I also believe that it would be really, really smart for a group that's pushing to get lump sums of money to have a intelligent plan to do something with? If you're looking to build infrastructure, as we talked about, if we're looking to build like again black institutions, black wealth, and compete with the dominant society, I think that it would be smart to also strategize what to do on some capacity with the payments that you would get. That is not popular inside the FBA movement. Every time you bring it up, niggas be like, "Well, don't tell me what to do with my money." Am I wrong?
You understand?
Am I wrong?
Why?
Am I wrong?
Right. No.
Okay. All right. So I did know what I was talking
about. You know what you're talking about, but to say that you're bringing it up like as if that's a problem that we're not explaining.
I didn't even present. Well, I do think that that's a problem in the future that would come across if it does happen.
Yeah, bro. So
I think that it's his own thing. But I also
don't gaslight me. I know what you're getting at. You have a problem with us not budgeting how and itemizing what we're doing with in the FBA community. Like you have a problem with that.
No, I do have.
Okay, that's why you're getting.
That's not where I was heading the conversation at all.
He's saying that like you have to have a strategy if you're gonna get this.
We got a strategy.
What's the strategy?
What is the strategy for when you get it?
For when we get it?
Nigga, that's what we're talking about.
The strategy, bro, the strategy for when we get the money is the people who are already investors, the people who are investment minded, they're going to do what they're supposed to do in the strategy.
What is what they're supposed to do,
bro? We don't have.
And which people are, it's like an elite capitalistic mindset.
There is no collective strategy.
They sound like
there doesn't need to be. That's not important. That's not important.
Yeah,
That's
just say that because there ain't no collective strategy. Niggas gonna get their money and do what they do.
That's not important.
It should be, and we could work.
No, it shouldn't be. Like we don't have to present.
That makes it.
We don't. Bro, if you owe me some money, it's not on me to tell you what I'm gonna do with the money that you.
No, but if I want to actually like build a community with the money,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you owe me.
When we gave that money
white
to
people don't just spend money with.
Hold on,
the master plan.
Hold on.
Like what you owe me is not your concern.
But that's why there's two separate things, and I actually separated them really easy. If somebody owes you, you have a plan for that. If you're also have a plan for that because of you're destitute inside like resources and community, and these infrastructures need to be built, and you should also have a fucking plan for that.
We don't owe them an explanation for what we're gonna do with them.
Who asked for like that? Wouldn't be for them.
Oh, Q, my bad.
But that wouldn't be for them. Again, like, you don't owe black people an explanation.
We didn't owe
why we should actually build up our fucking community. Like, what does that mean?
No, we know why we need to build. You're talking about the concept.
Oh, my bad. I said why. I meant how we're going to build up our community. Like actually having a plan.
That don't have nothing to do with our reparations claim. Is my point. You're trying to put the two together, and that's going to slow things down because all that matters. To keep it simple is we are owed this money. We do not have to get into justifying by what we're going to do with it. That's a waste of time.
No, nobody asked for justifying. No, nobody asked to justify.
If we get it,
it's having an actual full plan. Like who the fuck got the plan and then we get money?
But like, what happens next? What happens next once we get it? Like it's gonna happen. I believe in it. We gonna get it. Then what?
What do you think is gonna happen?
Deflection. Just answer this question.
I have no clue.
What's gonna happen is because you act as if the black community doesn't have people that you know for a fact are going to build our community. Yes, we have people that'll blow it, but even ask us what we're gonna do with it, bro. We got people trying to build a community right now. If you give them a bunch of money, they're going to continue to build their community.
But most of black people I know that once they get money, they don't come back and build a black community.
Well, speak for your own circle, bro, because all the black people
you know a bunch of black people that got money.
Not that I hang.
That niggas got the same circle, bro.
No, Q, do we? Do we, Q?
Y'all don't. Like, y'all went to the same college and church. Y'all didn't go to the same church and in college. And have a lot like y'all parents know each other. Y'all literally like live within like the same pretty much community. Am I off at this or something?
Like a decade ago, you would have been correct. You would have been correct about a decade ago.
Oh, bro, we know the same people. So like goddamn.
But no, I'm talking about the people.
Johnny, you're not down with the crew no more, Johnny.
That nigga kicks you out.
John, he really distanced himself from you, Johnny. Like you don't know nothing about this nigga, bro.
But John, let's be real. The people we hang out with the most often are different these days.
Yes, but the people that believe in the same shit, we come and do this podcast.
The people the people.
But you hang out with like white people, a person that you call each other, and then
tell me more about myself, bro.
I can go by like the
you know about my friend groups that you've never seen.
No, I seen it. You showed us.
Yeah, you did.
It's a larger group of people.
It's a large group.
I can only go by what you tell us. If you tell us that you hang out with this group of people, and there's a tether in there, and then there's a black guy that only wears NASCAR hats and shit like that. It don't sound like you got a bunch of niggas that's investing in the community. And then the other black guys, we got white women. What are you talking about right now? This is everything you tell us. I only go off what you tell us.
The black people that I know, the engineer ones, I don't think that just because a person has a white girlfriend automatically means that they won't build anything. They know that they're black. They talk about that stuff all the time. So I think their father, he does things for, like, he has a black family. Like his father is an investor. On both my homies, his stepfather's an investor. They got I got people in my family that I associate with all the time too, and they all invest in things as well. If you invest give them money, I can tell you 10 people that I could tell to 10 people, call 10 people right now that are black men
non-liberal
investors.
shit.
They aren't liberal, nah. I can call 10 black men right now who all are investors, have business, they're in tech, they're in law. They are not going to blow the money.
But no, you're just saying like they're investors, like they're just investing their money.
Like,
are they investing their money in the black community?
That's hundreds and thousands of black people. You talking about the 10?
I'm pretty sure everybody on this call is technically an investor.
But hear me out. There's another thing. There's another thing too, though. If you don't invest in the black community, but you make your black self rich and you have a black family, that's still like.
Okay, so we're not using it to build infrastructure and shit like that.
I'm saying like not all of us are going to invest in the community.
So
are we obligated?
Like getting money with no strategy is like
who is going to invest in the community, Trey?
No, the strategy is getting
you don't
to
know
the bread.
nobody. You don't know nobody who you think would invest in the community, John.
I think we should highlight the motherfuckers.
You want to feed your bread to the ducks? Feed your bread to the ducks.
Like there should be.
It's your bread. Like, it's your bread, bro.
You want to make bread pudding with your shit? Make bread pudding,
bro. I really don't
Trey,
understand.
We're
bro.
not anti-emperor. We're not
throw that bitch in the toaster. Throw it in the toaster.
No, Trey. We're
because if you're really about reparations, but hear me out, bro.
What? We're
reparations. If you're really about reparations,
imagine niggas getting mad for like saying, "Hey, we should put money aside for the black community." Like that's all niggas are saying right now. And you like, nah. Some of them niggas gonna do it anyway.
My point is
everybody that gets
like a nigga mad about like saying let's put money aside.
Everybody that get the money should be obligated to give some of it back. Like
bro,
like an FBA United Trust Fund, some shit like that.
This is the bottom line.
Right, that'd be fire. That's a fire idea.
This is the bottom line. In a lot of these FBA spaces that we talk about what we're going to do for reparations, we talk about going to city councils, petitioning, delineating, like strategies, talking about specific politicians, putting pressure on them, doing calling campaigns, doing emails, doing everything like that. We don't talk about what we're going to spend the money that we're owed after we get it. We talk about how we're going to get the money in the first place. That's why I don't like these conversations about how we're going to spend money that we haven't even fully laid out the strategy for how we're going to get there.
Trey, any business plan, like before they get the money, like you have
don't owe a
plan
business plan for the money that we owe. If we're not applying for a loan, we're coming for our check.
America is a business, and if we're going to get the money we owe, unless we're going to get guns and take it, we have to diplomatically get it. So what you?
John, if I owe you 100 bands, can I ask you what you're going to do with the money, John?
And but Trey, unless
what if you're not doing it for them? You're doing it for
Trey, if you if I owe somebody 100 bands and I got it, and they just be like, "Can you give it to me?" and I don't feel like giving it to them, what's the only way I'm gonna give it to them? Unless they run up with some guns and take the money, and we're not prepared to do that.
That's why
that's how America. That's how America does it.
But that's why we have these disagreements, bro.
The next part of the conversation where y'all haven't like completely fleshed out how to get reparations yet either. Like every time I like ask like a lot of like linear direct questions, even with that, and that's again like this is where I believe that the good part about like asking the questions, it gives like people that don't have the same idea and same viewpoint, it gives y'all the outside perspective in which it can exploit holes.
Honestly, bro, I just think it's really honestly, bro. If I have to explain to a person that it doesn't matter what we do with the money because
it does matter to us, if we trying to build that community,
I think that
it does. It does matter. Like if we get the money,
if you're doing community for sure,
like it does matter what we do with the money, Trey. It's not the reparations. Isn't the end of it? Is that the end? It's like we get the reparations and sayonara, happily ever after. Is that there's way more to the conversation after we get the reparations. Even if I believe we're gonna get them, what happens next?
I don't think we're to that point yet.
We have to be like if you believe we're gonna get there. Yes, if you like Trey,
right, you just gonna freestyle
you playing basketball and you hit a shot. Guess what the coach gonna have you do? You gotta run back on defense. You gotta get prepared for the next possession. That's just a natural thing of game and competition. Like once you make a move, you have to be prepared for the next.
Don't any good organization have like 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year projections, plans? Like it's never like just an like once we get here, after we get this, then we're gonna like start planning again and doing shit.
This is like if you're in bondage and you're talking about how you're gonna decorate your house once you get free. Nigga, we need to get off this plantation first, and then once we off the plantation, we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
Well, y'all niggas, you see what happened once we got off the plantations, Trey?
Yeah, we got out of the chains,
and
the physical chains,
and got exploited again.
Would you rather just go back in slavery then?
I'd rather have a plan for the next time.
Would you rather go back in slavery?
I'd rather have a plan.
Would you sacrifice? Would you prolong getting off the plantation?
Why is it? Why are y'all like against like just having a plan?
I said have
like a plan for the black community. Like, I don't understand what's the pushback on that.
I don't know that long all the way back to being on a plantation. Like,
because this is
we say, hey, let's have a plan to help the black community. What, like, I don't understand. Like, what's the like negative part of saying that?
Because right now, we are all hands on deck, figuring out how we're going to get the money in the first place. So if we haven't even figured that out, and someone wants to come in and make the topic of the conversation of how we're going to spend the money, and I know in my heart that once we get this money, all the other stuff is going to fall into place. Bro, hear me out. When we've had money before, we did fine with the money in our own communities, but we've been economically deprived. We have black entrepreneurs everywhere creating that thing with the pulling water out of thin air, all of our inventions. If we put money behind that, then all this stuff is going to work itself out. But the most important thing we need to be doing right now is figuring out how we're going to get this money. Because I think a lot of times people use this as a stalling tactic or a time-wasting tactic to discuss how we spend the money because they don't believe we're going to get the money in the first place. So it's just a way for them to like badger the people that actually believe in. That's how I see what y'all.
Or you can operate like most organizations, or just like operate like most organizations where you have
because y'all don't believe in it. Y'all don't believe that we're going to get it because y'all ask questions all the time.
Johnny keeps saying he does, and like asking a question. Like the thing is that like any successful organization has different subgroups that have different goals. Like
and they can answer
how a business works in general. Like you would have committees that deal with specific things. Like you might have some economists who aren't like as like savvy with law as your lawyers, but they can present a really cogent business plan that comes or not business economic plan that can speak to black growth for the next 20 years after we get this thing. And you can have your lawyers that would actually have like a really cogent, foolproof plan of how once presenting the idea of precedent to the legal system, when it comes down to getting reparations, that it be infallible because of X, Y, and Z. Like, like I imagine that's what you would have like your lawyers working on. Like everybody,
hear me out, bro.
To focus on the exact same thing. Because it's like an over concentration.
What we gonna do with the reparations? Because I'm gonna get them reparations.
Hear me out, right? I just think that we're in this position right now, again, where it's all hands on deck. So I don't advocate anybody who is with this FBA thing entertaining any questions about what we're going to do with, because this is the FBA position. The official FBA position is that it's a debt owed to us. What we do with that is irrelevant for our fight for reparations.
What about amongst FBA niggas? Like
the official position of FBA is that the money is owed to us. We don't entertain any topics about what we're going to do with the money.
Nigga, I'm us.
But where? So
not, bro. Respectfully, you're not, bro. Because you asking questions that.
Like if somebody
can you post that link in the chat, or were you reading that?
Yeah,
post in the chat.
And then also, how did who is making this rule for the lineage?
Do with the money?
No, but I also want to know who's making that rule specifically, as it like who's officially speaking for me as a person of the lineage, because y'all keep making sure that y'all separated from a movement in a lineage. You said the official FBA position
as the lineage.
As the lineage. Like, when did we decide that, and who spoke for me?
Can you share the link too?
It's just agreed upon by all the.
Now who? When was the meeting?
All the fucking.
When was the meeting?
Y'all not invited because y'all not
We
going to
FBA,
y'all not going to
nigga.
contribute.
But how
Y'all not,
we
bro.
lineage? That sounds counterproductive.
That's not how it.
Oh, so is it just
that's
the
not how
elites
it-
that's making these decisions?
It's the
I'm trying to
FBA,
understand.
baby. It's the FBA.
Like we doing like the talented 10th bourgeoisie? Because
Nah,
majority of
bro.
America, majority of Black America is not in the meeting. They don't know this.
I
So
don't
who's
think-
making the decision if like us tuned in FBA niggas don't even get a say on what our lineage do and what our lineage feel? Or are you letting me know that it's moving?
I think if you have too many people like interjecting all this shit, then we're not going to get anywhere. I think the people who are iron focused on the agenda and are able to stay within those guidelines, yeah, and you'll get your check. You'll get your check, Q, and you can do whatever you want to do.
But how do you tell me what the official stance of the lineage is?
We're not going to get the check talking to you, bro.
But how do you tell me what the official stance?
Talking to you, if we can't talk about what happens after, bro. Like,
are you gonna share that you was reading?
We gotta like there has to be like a before and after.
Why niggas?
The code's not written down, G.
I thought you was reading something where you said this is the official stance. I thought you was reading something.
No, I'm not reading, but that's how on code I am, where I don't have to read it. And a bunch of people in the chat.
So where did they make it official at? Like, how do I know where like niggas is deciding the shit for me at?
Like
you have to be on code. You have to be on code.
Or are you making this shit up like right now?
No, for real. Like,
bro, Trey, you are a funny nigga, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Because
you don't have to say like official. Like you can say like, or you can say like within the FBA movement.
Trying or what, bro? But you a funny nigga, bro. Because I don't even understand.
You got to be on code to understand, bro, because we're not really responsible for telling people how we supposed to spend the money that we're owed, bro. I'm not
saying I'm not on that side of the hill. By the
I'm
way,
not engaging in that shit. I'm not talking about what we're gonna do with the money that's owed to us.
That's Johnny and Q conversation. I'm not. Look, like I say, you do what you want with the bread. Throw it to the ducks. Throw it in the toaster. Whatever you want to do.
It's our money, or invest in your community, which a lot of us will. Or you don't think nobody will?
Get that shit back to the white man.
You don't think? Oh, is that what you're gonna do, Q?
That's not what I would do, but I think.
Oh, is that what you're gonna do, G?
My bad. Let's
y'all didn't give me a plan. What's your
but hold on. Let's real quick. Do you think that
it's hard for me to have a plan? I don't know how big the check gonna be, so I can't make no promises what I'm gonna do with it.
That's the point too. I wonder how much of Black America is financially literate and makes really great financial decisions.
How many rich Black people buy a house in a white community?
Buy a house wherever
how many multi-millionaire Black people, when they buy their house, the neighborhood is majority white? How many? It's overwhelming amount.
John, you're aware that there are Black people right now that are buying neighborhoods, buying blocks, and starting communities just for Black people, right?
Hey, let me add that.
I said how many? You talking about what? 5%, 2, 3%?
All in league coming.
I said how many? What's percentage of Black people, multi-millionaires, when they buy their house, do they buy it in majority Black neighborhoods? And
so John,
it's an overwhelming.
John, hear me out.
Something percent.
If we're economically deprived and we still have people putting their money together to build communities, do you think that number will go up or down if we have reparations?
I just asked what it is right now.
No, John, but answer what. Do you think there will be more if we get reparations and we already have Black people doing it with the little they have now? Do you think we'll do more of building our own communities or less when we actually have some money?
I hope we do more, but like at
right now, we're gonna do more, bro. That's how we build.
But as of right now, most of us buy houses in white communities, right?
Because that is how much money we have. But I'm saying, like, I think engaging in this conversation is so off code because official. But hear me, the official, like for real, the official stance on this is we're not trying to spend time telling nobody what we're supposed to do with the money that we
Tell
owe.
us. We not nobody. I'm getting the check. What am I supposed to do with the check?
Because if you're really
niggas not really trying to build community, bro. It's all right.
If you're really valid, you wouldn't be asking the question, bro.
Somebody
like it's for like selfish gain. It's
the check. What am I?
You gotta ask the question. If you gotta ask the question,
bro. You supposed to have an answer, bro. I'm saying I'm getting the check. I'm FBA Lenny. I'm dark skinned than all you motherfuckers right now. I'm getting the check. Like, what am I supposed to do with it?
Nigga, that's a question to ask yourself.
The code. What does the code say?
What's the
The
official
niggas that's on code,
official?
and the niggas, the ones that's on code, right? The ones that's not answering this question, I bet those are going to be the main ones investing in the community, not the people that's trying to prolong the
So
progress.
Y'all don't want my money.
I would do with your money what you want to, bro, but I don't want no off code people in our community. Straight up,
freestyle the plan, my boy.
I don't want nobody off code around us, bro.
Be on the code,
like straight up. Like I think that's going to be the next step in delineation, bro.
But you just said you hang out with a tether.
I'm trying to be on the code, bro.
He not going to have no authority
trying to be on
in
the
the
code.
community, bro. And I had discussions with. I tried to correct this tether's behavior. I might have saved this man life, bro, because I be calling him out. No, I be telling him stuff like you can't do that, bro. Like, I know what they probably taught you in your household, but he probably never met an FBA like me. So I'm doing him a
You gonna
service.
kill him?
I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't gonna kill him. We were about to throw hands a couple times, bro. But I was like, man, I'm too old for this, bro. So I just got into, I said some things, you know what I'm saying? Some off-color remarks, and then I checked the behavior, bro. And I think it's good to have people around you.
What did he say? I'm curious. Like, what did he say that almost made you put the pause on the nigga, man?
That was off code.
It's not as much what he said as the fact he doubled down on what he said.
What did he double down on?
Like there's a white guy, and he tries to get him to say the N-word, and the white dude, like, he don't say that. If there's a rap song that say the N-word, he say the C-word instead of the N-word. You know what I mean?
C-word.
Crack. Yeah, I imagine that's what he's saying.
Ritz, saltine.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. When
he said that's what his Caucasian homie says. But
wow.
But your foreign
yo, the whites are going crazy. I had no clue.
But you're saying that you're foreign guy, and when you say tether, what is he? He's like what?
He is half Eritrean, half Ethiopian, and he he's very Nipsey Hussle was a writer, and he was on code. This guy, he says he was trying to get the white boy to say the N-word, and I was like, bro, we don't do that. You won't get these white boys messed up. And the white dude was like, bro, he's trying to get me. The white dude told me because he knew I would have a problem. I was like, bro, I don't really want you saying that word no more. You know what I mean? And every time he say it, I check him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And and they get on us because they get on me for having to check him too much because he's young as hell. He's like 24.
So the white dude keep on saying the N-word?
No, the tether does. The tether keeps getting the white dude to say it. And
the white dude.
Why are you hanging out with these guys?
The white dude keeps saying it.
The white dude.
How old is the white dude?
The white dude, about like 6 years younger than me.
So the white dude's never said the N-word.
Never. He only says the C word. He says the C word.
I think you said he keeps getting them to say it. Though.
The tether. He tries to get him. The white dude knows better.
You think he say it when you're not around?
I don't think so.
So you saying
he definitely ain't replacing Cracker.
Hey fellas, we got people in the back.
Trey, is this a light skinned tether or a dark skinned tether?
He look Ethiopian. That's what he looked like.
Yeah,
probably brown skin.
Right.
But all right, we're off topic, but nonetheless,
like
we got you guys in the backstage. So
he's darker than me.
Again,
like
as always,
hey, all y'all look like tethers to me.
Hey fellas, give me a second.
All y'all sound like tethers to me.
I'm about to mute y'all niggas. But all right, so again, if you want to skip the line, turn that camera on. But outside of that, we're about to start calling up or bringing up some of the people from the backstage. I see one camera on. Shout out to Barcode. We're gonna bring you up. We've kind of been all over the world this episode, so feel free to comment on what you would like us to talk about or address, or if you have some commentary. Got 2 minutes on the clock. Talk to us, brother. What's going on?
Yo, what up,
man?
Yo, salute to you, gentlemen. First of all, I'm listening. I'm out in Washington State. I'm on the West Coast, so it's 9:20. Y'all up 12:20 over there?
Yeah.
Salute, yo.
This night shift. This night shift.
Yeah, that's big facts, man. I like a lot of the conversation. You know, me and G go way back. So, you know, I originally come up with him out of Bull City. But yeah, man, you know, I like how y'all come across a lot of these topics and how y'all address a lot of these topics. One of the things that I think that I wanted to hear you like maybe go into a little bit more detail was about the military spending in the budget and like the direction of that, where you gentlemen think that should go. Like G, you were saying you might have some like, you know, some covert information. And with you I never know. So, you know, like let me know. Do I need to go head for the border or what? Like what's up, man? You know, I'm kind of close right now. You know, I'm in Washington.
Yeah, you in the best spot, nigga. You right there.
Oh yeah, go
right
to Canada.
It's very strategic.
You mean like please?
Canada, nigga.
Yeah, nah. I'm like maybe 30 minutes from the border.
Oh yeah.
And Q, yo, I appreciate you saying barcode correctly, by the way. That's the application that I've been developing. So
word. All right.
Yeah.
Shout out.
It's gonna be in the app store soon.
I got it. You one of those black investors that Trey was talking about.
Something like that.
Hey,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Hey, are you gonna blow? Yeah, you gonna blow all your money when you get it, or nah?
I mean, you know, the plan is to do a little bit of madness.
You got a plan,
you know,
Trey.
A little bit of, you know, reinvestment into our community and just, you know,
Exactly, bro.
building
See,
society.
I got faith that we got brothers like this and plenty of this, so much faith in that I'm not trying to entertain talking about what we're gonna do with the money. I know what we're gonna do with the money. All I know is that the money is owed
he talked
to
about
us.
his plan
It's
though.
my money, bro.
I didn't say I wasn't gonna get an Epstein Island eventually. I'm just saying, like, at some point. G know I'm playing. In reality though, nah, like I do have plans on, you know, philanthropy and ideas on what I want to reinvest in.
He ain't afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, bro. Hey, we the most innovative race of people from what I've seen in America. We have so many inventions, all that. So asking me what we're gonna do with the money, I know what we're about to do with the money. We're gonna investing, creating, building, all that stuff. But I'm not about to itemize the plan
seems to be
to justify the money that is owed to me, bro. The money is owed whether I have a plan or not.
Hey, Johnny, in
That's
that show, not the show, the black exploitation clip that we looked at, Trick Baby. Pretty much they explained economic pacification as the way to make black people more docile, correct?
They said let 2-3 of them up.
Yeah, like give them money, they'll start looking at
Give
you.
them some bread.
In essence, that's economic pacification, correct?
And then, but then what they said was they knew they wasn't gonna have a plan, and they wasn't gonna come back because the pacification. They feel good, but
yeah, I'm just wondering how like that's killed pretty much every movement that the leader didn't die. Economic pacification of the leaders, like them giving the leaders money to sell out has been the thing. So it's just weird that we're just saying like, well, we're gonna give black people money an exorbitant amount, and they're going to continue to kind of keep the same morals that even the best leaders that we've quote unquote had haven't had to if they still exist.
Horrible false equivalency. Because they didn't ever give us nowhere close to what we're talking about with reparation. They gave a few people enough money. They never gave us. No, hear me out. They never gave anybody in the black community enough money to impact any real change. And at the same time, they gave some of us money.
That wasn't the point.
No, that's not. But that's not a straw man because you're trying to say
that's not the point that I made at all.
Because if reparations is not economic pacification, that is like generational. That's changing things on such a high scale that it's not. Nothing they're talking about in Trick Baby. They weren't talking about giving them reparations. That'll economically appease them. No, they said get a few, not enough to make a change, and then that'll be enough for the few to the others.
Like once they integrate, nothing like docile and whatchamacallit.
But that's not picking a few is not comparable to giving us all reparations. So if you didn't make that like comparison.
Well, no, I was just speaking to an example of economic pacification.
It's not an example of nothing with reparations.
Well, Trick Baby was an example of economic pacification. Like, if you agree or disagree with the example, like that's kind of like your prerogative, but that's something completely different than what actually happened inside like that clip.
Nigga, Trip Baby was not talking about reparations. It was talking about
and again, like this is another straw man that you're making. I never said that Trick Baby was talking about reparations. Like at least
but
like
that was the original topic though, right? Was reparations? That was the original topic, right? And you brought up Trick Baby as an example. So for me, that you're saying I'm not pulling that comparison out of nowhere.
What was the example that I was making? All I'm asking is just represent my argument properly.
If it don't have nothing to do with reparations, why you bring it up?
So I was making not a comparison. I was using that as an example. No,
you were making the comparison. You just said it.
So right now, you just argued me and said that I said that Trick Baby was talking about reparations. That's not what I was doing. I was using it as an example of economic pacification. I was using economic pacification as an example of what they have done to our leaders and our best and quote unquote brightest when it comes down to what they've done with money. To speak to the idea that typically, if you give a bunch of people a bunch of money, they're not necessarily the most motivated to just still fuck shit up. They become a bit docile. Like it was a line to walk down, but there was no direct correlation to, hey, Trick Baby is reparations. That's what you attempted to represent my ideas. Again, at least represent it properly. Like you can kind of like just stay with me a little bit. That's all I'm asking.
So you aren't talking about reparations then? Right?
Hold on, I think Barcode wanted to hop in really quick.
No, I was going to say
real quick. You weren't talking about reparations, though. My bad. Q, you weren't talking about reparations.
No, I just walked. I don't feel like walking that. G, did you understand what I just said?
Yo, Barcode, what would you gonna say?
You could just say, hey, Q, you could just said yes or no. And
no, I just answered it. I just literally answered.
So you weren't talking about reparations. So therefore, I don't know why we're talking about it. Because we're talking about reparations right now.
Yeah, the Trick Baby thing, I was gonna say I kind of interpreted that like as him saying, speaking to maybe like a character or a figure like Jay-Z, right? He came from the bottom, came out of nothing, and then kind of rose through the top because there was just something special about this guy, right? So you have guys that come out of our community. That's just one example. But I mean, LeBron James, people that just come from nothing and just have a greatness about them that can inspire to greatness. Like I like the engineer example you use, G, because like I wasn't even thinking in that frame, but like that's another group of young black people who are smart enough to maybe navigate and get outside of those barriers and then those red line districts.
You see how when I say certain things, niggas hear the positivity in it versus some niggas get man, isn't it crazy that a nigga would get offended by something like that? What I said about engineers, that's kind of crazy, right?
Gee, I've known you a long time as well. Okay, so I also know how you might be interpreted by people who might not have known you as long as I have. Now I'm playing.
Hey, we got a few guys in the backstage. So I'm gonna start bringing up other people. Stick around. Again, we kind of try and bring everybody back before the end of the show. All right, so one of our guys, shout out Steve. Steve is becoming a favorite of mine. Talk to us, brother.
Yo, man, what's good?
What's good?
Hey, man, y'all
3 minutes on the clock. Talk to us.
Hey, man, y'all almost made me come on here and take Trace out. Y'all was going in on him tonight. We know he gonna give his reparations money to white women. He letting white boys say the N-word at his job. He letting Ethiopians say the N-word at his job. This nigga FBA
came up here lying, bro.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what Tariq Nasheed teaching y'all in the Twitter space, man.
Come on, you just came up here straight lying, bro.
Come on,
you
man.
Say a true thing yet, bro.
I'm just gonna.
What's the other lies? What's the other lies you got, bro?
A little bit, but I interpret it, man. You're not really on code, man.
Man, tell me some more lies, bro.
Okay, but anyway, I just want to make a quick point. Like when a lot of people talk about historically, like when black people were doing good, they typically referring to like Reconstruction period. So that's like right after slavery. I think a part that people miss about black people doing good during Reconstruction period is that they had federal troops literally protecting them. So like I think a lot of people miss out on this public policy piece, and like they get caught up on the wealth piece. They're like, oh, these people was doing good. But they were only doing good because the federal government was protecting them.
And they
the
put them
moment that
troops
they
out, and
removed
what happened?
the moment that they removed federal troops
Mhm.
from the South or wherever, I mean, it was back to regular scheduled programming. It was sharecropping, you know, it's black codes, it's Jim Crow. So I think a lot of people, and how that relates to today is if the public policy piece is not in order. So like if there's not no equal treatment under the government, under the law, like if you don't fight for that part, like the money aspect is really don't matter either. Cause all this stuff about like, oh well, we can build our own garden and we could do all this. Well, what if they outlaw that? If you have no control of the public policy apparatus, they got a monopoly of violence that you can't respond in. Like people need to get serious about the public policy part because it don't matter if they give you money or not. This the US government, the most destructive force in human history. You think they gonna have a problem if they really wanted to unfettered taking out 13% of the population, controlling 13% of the population? So like it sound good in theory to be like, oh, we just get this money and do all this stuff ourselves. They still gonna have the electricity lines, they control the water, they could like everything that you think about.
And Steve, to quote our good brother Trey, like we could take 2 steps forward and they have planned 5 steps ahead and take us 3 steps backwards. That sounds like if they was to give us, I don't see why we wouldn't have a plan, knowing how strategic white supremacy has been over the past centuries.
And even like even some of the myths around stuff like we integrated and we left our businesses. That's not really what happened. We didn't like they gave us integration. Integration wasn't just about going to like white restaurants. It was about equal protection under the law. What killed black business was deindustrialization. Like we lost black jobs, so therefore black businesses that service black communities lost their customer base. That's what happened. And why did we deindustrialize? Because corporations can make more money by letting Chinese labor doing work that black laborers or white laborers did. Like everybody loved capitalism until some capitalistic shit happened. Like at one point when black people were slaves, we was the reserve army of labor. When we was segregated, we was the reserve army of labor. You outsource all of that work somewhere else. You basically economically disenfranchise black folk. Of course, black business is gonna fail. Their customer bases don't have no money no more.
Gotcha. Hey, Steve, we appreciate the points. You already know. Stick around. Yeah. Good insight. With that, we got 2 more backstage. 2 favorites. One of them is a new favorite that I've started. Like their content's coming up on my algorithm a lot more. I'm gonna bring him up after this first one, but yeah, shout out to the guy. But before then, talk to us.
What's good, everybody?
What's going on?
Yo, every week it seems like no matter what topic you get on, it always end up being on reparations. And reparations, I know it's something that, we deserve it, but until somebody give me a plan on how we gonna get it and we gonna do it, I don't want to hear nobody talk about it no more.
Nigga,
you got a plan because it sounds like it. No, I please give me. I never hear the plan.
You want to hear it?
And I don't want and I don't want to hear secrecy. And I'm too damn not enough with y'all FBAs to hear it. I want to hear the plan.
Hear it? You want to hear
it? Please.
It?
Yes.
All right.
How you get it?
First, the plan is to delineate, replace our representation or lack thereof with people who represent our interests, quit voting reflectively and vote only for tangibles, and then organize with candidates who are reparations candidates and start putting them in positions, if it's like City Hall, if it's like starting locally and work our way up. But first thing we can do is get rid of our misrepresentation who's been leading us astray. And I think once we do that and have people actually working on our behalf, that'll be a lot more productive than anything we've had since the civil rights movement. So I think we need to start there at least, because that's well within our power, and then we can see what we're working with. You know what I mean? We got to put one step in front of the other and walk along that path. I know it's a lot of steps, but I think, you know, like once you make a couple steps, the next few steps, because you have that momentum, it seems like so much more attainable. But it seems like but rather than even getting the momentum started, all we want to do is like nitpick and scrutinize like the strategy we're talking to do that. Like we're actually trying to do this right now, and then people just want to tell us that we can't get it done. It's like, bro, like let's try, bro.
How long is that going to take? How long?
They're actually working on that. They're working on that now. They're working on that now. Like this time around, because if black people would have voted in droves for Kamala Harris, she would be in office right now. Like if we would have came out, but the grassroots did not get behind her the way we would got behind Barack Obama.
There wasn't a big drop in voter. Like I think it was like less than
compared to Barack Obama.
I think we could look at the amount. I'm talking about like what it's trended. Like voting has trended upward. So I think that she might have gotten like the most well, no, I think Biden got the most Democratic votes ever or some shit like that. But like she wasn't too far behind. But typically like it's a slant like this when it comes down to voter population and voting percentage. Like she pretty much just stood still at where Biden was at. When you look at
so we supported Kamala like we supported Barack Obama. I got it.
Numbers. Like,
okay, I said we didn't support Kamala like we supported Obama, and you jumped in to correct me.
Yeah, because it's not true.
Okay, so we supported Kamala like we supported Barack Obama.
I think that we might have, like, when you say support, I don't know what that means, but when I say it, I'm meaning numbers of votes.
Okay,
and so when I'm saying number of votes, all right, I'm gonna just look it up. Go ahead.
I have what. All right. This is one thing. It's something I saw a professor online, and I asked the question in chat. He said something about if they were to give each one of us, you know what I'm saying, the ones that deserve the reparations, they gave us $5 million to give up your citizenship to the United States. Would anybody on the chat do it? Would anybody?
Oh, my bad. So,
$5 million to give up. What citizenship do I get in return?
United States. What that I don't know what citizenship. You can go or do whatever you want to do. But you have to get United States citizenship. You get
if I get $5 million and I can go anywhere I want, I'll probably take it. I'll probably take it.
All right. What about everybody else? Would you take it, Trey?
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't take it, bro. And I honestly,
you wouldn't.
If they do something like that, it'd be cool because I think we get all the people out the way who are kind of obstructing our progress, and then the people that want to stand and fight for some shit.
Because I can always come back and visit, right?
Nah, I mean, not with no citizenship. You better get green card.
It's called a passport, nigga.
You get a passport. You get a passport, probably.
All I gotta do is go to another G7 country. I'll take my black ass to one of these other. I'll be in Paris eating croissants, nigga. Passport, get me anywhere I need to go.
I don't know if you can necessarily come back to the U.S. automatically. Just any global citizen can come into the United States.
No. So it's called reciprocity, and what it is that certain countries don't require a visa to enter the United States just because we have certain rules in place. Now they are trying to argue about getting rid of that rule, but for example, if you're say in the UK and you got a United Kingdom passport, like you could come to the United States, stay up to 90 days without any penalty. Same thing like if you had certain other passports. So not every country even requires a visa to enter the United States. Some of them had that reciprocity. Because like we don't need a visa to go everywhere. And like we could go to Europe right now. We don't need a visa. We just need our passport.
I got you. So you can get citizenship in some other country that has a partnership with the United States, and then you can get that way. Got you.
And even if you was to go abroad and you got the money, couldn't you still help out here, even though you're not here? Why would you not want to take the money? I'm just saying. To me, it would make sense to take the money. I take the money and do what G said.
I just got too much family like in the soil that fought for too much for me in America for me to just bounce and not finish the fight that they started.
Okay.
All
right.
What
about you, Johnny?
Oh yeah, Johnny.
What about me?
Johnny ain't paying no
Nigga,
attention.
nigga, you heard me. Stop playing with yourself.
Hey. I wouldn't have that on camera. Okay. No,
Johnny, he's asking if they gave you $5 million, would you leave the country?
Give up your citizenship.
Would you give up your citizenship? Give up your citizenship.
Could I stay in the country and could I get 5 million euros?
No, you gotta go.
You can come back and visit
No, you
if
gotta
you
go.
got the right
You gotta
passport.
Yeah,
you gotta leave.
go.
You're not a citizen no more.
But could I get it in euros?
You can convert it to whatever
You get it
want.
you can convert it to whatever you want to, but you
get that
can't
shit
be
in
the United
Bitcoin
States
if you want
citizen no
to.
more. Yeah,
But
exactly.
5 million untaxed.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm taking the 5 million. I'm getting the fuck up out of here.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Vince, I'm the only one staying.
Yeah. You and a couple of your white girls. You know I'm just messing with you, Trey.
Get Unc up out of here, man.
All right. We got one more backstage. All right. So again, shout out to the homie John. John, a lot of your content it be showing up on my not for you, the homepage on YouTube. So I could wake up like 8:30 and y'all got a political show. Then you might have had some truckers kind of talking shit. Then you might have just you walking around terrorizing your what do you call it? Your residents in DC. But yeah, nonetheless, John, welcome back. What's going on?
What's good?
We can't hear you. You muted.
Yeah, I can't believe you guys still talking about reparations and shit, man. It's crazy.
That wasn't the topic, but yeah, like you could answer anything that we talked about, but like somehow it finds its way back. But yeah, whether you want to talk about, I think that the general topic was fight for equality. Has it helped us, hurt us? We've also talked about how a lot of people say that we would have been better off still being in segregation and not integrated. Okay, so we kind of talked through that. We didn't really get into a bit of the other points, but again, if you want to go to some of the earlier icebreakers, we did speak about the Republican Party and the rural MAGA versus the neo MAGA. I mean, the neo MAGA versus the classical MAGA, i.e., the rich MAGA versus the rural MAGA, and we also spoke about the Democrats and if their plan right now has validity, will it work? And yeah, they're at an all-time low. So whichever one of those that you want to, or if you want to talk about reparations, is up to you.
Nah, I guess I'll go with segregation. Yeah, I think the segregation didn't work for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, all I see is black people comparing themselves to white people when we're being flooded with every other race of people coming here, and they're doing better than whites. They're doing better than blacks too. But the blacks are so razor focused on the white people. It's like they can't even see all the other competition that's lapping them. The Indians, the Hispanics, Asians. It's like, damn, like you so hell bent on, correcting these grievances with white people, you getting left behind by everybody else. That's kind of how I see it.
I feel you, John. I think a lot of the FBA spaces, we definitely talk about those other groups. But if you get outside of those spaces, it's just automatically talking about the Caucasians, if these other groups on it. But they still look at the other groups as like black and brown, and we have some coalition or something like that. But we kind of pushing away from that in a lot of these FBA spaces.
There was never a coalition. If you believe that, you propagandize. And black that believe that would really seriously propagandize. But you hear them all the time, black and brown, black and brown. I've never heard a brown person saying brown and blacks.
Right.
I've never heard that before. Hell, they'll start speaking Spanish where you can't even understand what the hell they're saying. They definitely don't.
Right. They definitely don't say that in their homelands.
So, it's very interesting to me. It seems like the blacks who been propaganda for a very long time. Segregation may have been part of the start of it.
You think there's any break in that?
I was talking to my mother. She's 74 years old. And I asked her about segregation. And she said, I wish we had kept it just the way it was. And she had the choice to go to an integrated high school, like her last year of school. She chose to stay in segregated. And I think blacks don't know what they lost. It's like the unseen. You know what I'm saying? You know what you gain or what you lost by accepting segregation or integration, but you don't know what you lost. You know what I'm saying? And what you lost, you probably will never get it back at this point.
But can I ask real quick? Would you John? Would you give up your citizenship for $5 million?
Nah, maybe 100 million.
All right, I dig it. All right, so nonetheless, that I think we over 3 hours. So again, anybody that's familiar, anybody in the back chat, if you want to hang around, you know, we're going to consistently do the after show. Oh, we got one last guest that we'll bring up before we finish off. But yeah, I guess I'll do that. And any of the guys, if you want to stick around, you know, we hang in the chat a little bit afterward, and we can kind of continue this conversation. But outside of that, we'll bring up one of our favorites before we get out of here. Kofi, talk to us, brother.
Yeah, I pretty much enjoyed the banter, the back and forth, but I'm going to speak more towards. I think Trey had a hard time figuring out what DEI is, and I want to talk about, you know, black businesses. So basically, Trey, I don't understand how you understand with DEI. If you're not a straight white Christian male that is not handicapped, you're DEI. So you could be a handicapped white man. You could be.
So we got to be lumped in with the handicaps and the gays.
Everybody that's not a straight white male, a straight white Christian male that's healthy and able-bodied is a DEI. And any programs or anything for those people that's not a straight white male that's not handicapped is DEI. It's really that simple.
But Kofi, you don't think it's kind of insulting that as a black man you have to be automatically lumped in with LGBTQ?
Well, you got to talk to the powers that be. If you
I'm asking you, like as a black man, you don't think that's like kind of insulting that you have to automatically see yourself in unison with trans community?
Well, yes. Well. I mean, there's gay people in every so-called community, in every race. But this is how the white power structure and the conservative movement works. The conservative movement is in this country. Conservatism is basically protecting white male Christianity and masculinity. That's what it is. If anything that doesn't fall into that particular line is DEI, right? That's why we have a constitution. That's why there's a lot of amendments in that constitution, and which are liberal amendments. Because hey, look, this is not protecting me as a black man. I would like to vote. I would like to do business of my choosing. I like to walk and go wherever I want to go. You know what I'm saying? So a conservative aspect would be like, no, we're going to put Jim Crow. We're going to do redlining. We're going to do all these other things. So again, that's what all DI falls into. And I know we spoke about this last week. But basically it seems that when it comes to, again, I'm more of I think Johnny touched on it too. I'm more of there's nothing wrong with integration. Our problem with integration is that, again, I'll say it again, we think white ice is colder. Angie said something also that I agree to when it comes to the reparations movement, when it comes to black people, that we need, I think Q also said that we're not financially literate. When we go to public school, we go to schools, they don't give us class on financial literacy. They don't tell us what the stock market is, what an IRA is, what a 401k is. They don't tell us these things on how to invest, how to grow your money, right? I think the first thing, and good, Dave Chappelle did that skit a long time ago saying, look, Dave Chappelle's against reparations, not because he doesn't want it. He thinks that we're just going to give it back to white people. So he says we need to come up with a plan to do something with this money, because reparations in the word alone is it's to repair what has done to our African ancestors that they brought us over here. So this money that when white people give it to us, this is the money that we're going to give to y'all to repair the damage that we have done to you. So yeah, you could do whatever you want to it, but ultimately that money has to be put like G said, like an FBA trust fund, because it is for the community, and that's the problem. We have to move as a group. We can't be selfish and think as individuals, because then you get nowhere as a group. Yeah.
All right. And with that was Kofi. All right. My bad. G, take it for a quick second. Let me get this cough out. Oh damn, G, we couldn't hear you. All right, I'm back.
We back.
I'm back now. I just had to get that quick little cough out. All right, but so nonetheless, this has been Unpacked, presented by the To Be Fair Show and the G-ish podcast. As you see him at the top, that is G, host of the G-ish podcast. We also stream on the G-ish podcast page as well as the To Be Fair Show page. Beside him, FBA Trey, aka David Walker, aka Cassius Trey. Below him, Johnny turned his camera off. I think Unc said that that's a joke. But, but nonetheless, Johnny, 1/3 of the To Be Fair Show. Beside him, again, make sure that y'all check out his page, The Urban Landlord. Make sure that y'all check him out. He runs content 24 hours a day, a bunch of different streaming. John Gott, Galt, Kofi, again, has his own page. Make sure y'all check him out. Good content. Unc, one of our favorites, and Steve, he drops bombs. With that said, shout out to the chat. You guys have been active. It's always love seeing y'all interact and tell us what we don't know, right? And with that said, this has been a great episode. Peace.